Yeah, it looks like we have Neil and new Neil, if you pay attention to the position board here. Neil and Obi are going to be on the show, dropping that Neilage and that Obi confidence. You're going to be seeing them in a couple of minutes. Hope you guys had as much fun as we did. This is a really eventful day. As Sharif said, not one, but three of the Mag 7 making new all-time highs. What a fun day to be trading. It's a shortened week, but no shortage of fun stuff to keep an eye on. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Right now, though, we do have Sharif. A couple seconds here in that green screen. Hope you guys have a great day. See you tomorrow.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. Obi, Neil, they're locked, they're loaded, they're ready to look at the tickers that you voted for on the midday show. Make sure to vote every day on how to trade with Adair and I. Really interesting day today. Goes without saying. We're going to get to the tickers and the futures in a second, but three of the Mag 7 names have all printed new all-time highs. Microsoft, Amazon, and Apple. Amazon breached that $200 level. Apple also breaching $220, and Microsoft at that 487 level. And all that Mag 7 strength has resulted in a good push up here for the triple Qs. 487, we're generally around in that area on the NQ September contract. We were really close to that 20,200. Great day, good strength today on the futures. But the first ticker, as selected by you guys, Nvidia, no real clear catalyst for this today. In fact, it's actually a little bit negative on the day, down about 1.5%, recovering well off the lows. Oh, guys, what is the look on Nvidia?
Nvidia. What's going on, Randy?
Oh yeah, I'm muted. It's not even on.
What's up, everyone?
It wasn't even on. Like,
oh,
I'm
okay.
there staring at Amazon this entire time, and I didn't even turn my microphone on. But you know what? I'll let you start with Nvidia because I'm mad at Nvidia, and Amazon needs to go to 201. Those are the two things that need to happen here. I'm actually in a different chip name, and it's actually Intel. And Nvidia was probably a bounce off VWAP, but I didn't have it.
Yeah, no, we talk about that 123 level on Nvidia, and I think it kind of stands out today as the highs being 123.40s every time it gets up into 123. Can't really get that far. Looking distinctly different from the rest of the market, as was just pointed out on the midday. All of these tickers, well, not all of them, Alphabet, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple as well, all pushing for fresh highs, and Nvidia is kind of chop and churn sideways. So maybe a little bit of a pit stop here in and around that 123 that has been showing up as an interesting level over the past week or so. You can see that it was acting as support for a good portion of last week, and coming in this week, a little bit of attempt to hold prior day yesterday on Monday, but today a little bit of a chop and churn underneath. What do we have in store for Nvidia in and around 123? I have no idea, but it is distinctly different from the rest of the market.
Yeah, that weakness it's real. It is what it is. It is trending to the upside. So until it gets through the high, it's 123.40 something. Let's just call it 123.45 or 50, whichever one you happen to like. I think that can really go. But I'm not going to, it was a VWAP touch. I just traded at 123. I think that was a mistake. And, you know, we're going to get, oh, you know what? I'm surprised Rivian's not on the list. Ooh. But Rivian's about 9 cents away from the $15 level. So we got to cover that.
Oh boy.
Amazon's this is the fourth time I've been long 200 on Amazon. 4 times. Is what it is, but looks like it's trying to go this time. But Nvidia needs to break out 123.5. If that can happen, I think it can join the party. 125 is still resistance. I am short Intel at VWAP because market's breaking highs. Intel can't even break through VWAP. So relative weakness there, yada, yada, yada. Short that chip name instead.
Annovis Biosciences, what a move up for them. Midday, we got the catalyst, or actually early on, we got the catalyst that they had a very successful phase 3 study for Parkinson's. It was midday that we got the analyst upgrade and a price target of, I believe, 65 or 67, sent this one shooting through the roof. It's retracing a little bit now, still up about 92%, guys. Heavy short float on this, I checked during the midday, about 15.5%.
So I have quite possibly the single greatest keystroke error ever on ANVS. It did this wick at $12, and like the second I saw it back underneath, my plan was to go short underneath there and then give a stop to 12. But instead of putting 12, I put like obviously it's going to happen. You put the wrong price on a stop order of that type. It just, the second I get into position, it punches me out. Because like, it's already past that price. What are you talking about? It's above $11. So I put the stop at 12. It was at, put the stop at 11. It was at 12 or 11.80. We got out. I tried shorting it on the way back down. Like when I try to jump back in, I get it lower, get very greedy, maybe a little bit tilted on it, but it was frustrating because I think I had the top on this, at least an idea at that 12 level, and then managed to bungle it. Did not get it fast enough when it wicked out, and I could have jumped back in. I think it's done temporarily in terms of looking for like a parabolic long. It would make some sense if 9 would hold as a support level. I think a consolidation off 9 would be the next place that I would look on ANVS. The good news is it's day 1, and if you look real close at all these massive spike and retraces, it has a bad history of doing that. 1, 2, 3, it's about 5 or 6 days here. It's about 5 or 6 days here. It's about 5 or 6 days that it runs before dropping. So that's the good news, is this stock has a history of being able to run for a couple of days before doing the, in this case, inevitable drop. I cheer for it. Parkinson's, horrible disease. It's a cruel one. My track coach in university developed Parkinson's while I was there, and it's not an easy thing to look at someone they've got all their faculties left and they just can't get it out. So I don't root against the stock, but I do think if it's still running tomorrow, there's a secondary play. But after about a week or so, or maybe 3 or 4 days, the pattern has been to look for a short in the stock. I'm not saying I want the stock to go down, but the pattern is what it is, and you should respect it.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I guess, resonate with that. Parkinson's definitely a serious issue, and a phase 3 trial improvement, and I guess good news on a phase 3 for Parkinson's, definitely a strong catalyst when it comes to a biotech. And yeah, very, very strong trend that it's been having with expanding volume. But no, Neil is right. Again, this ticker is a little bit of a repeat offender. If you look back at it, every time it does go on a couple days worth of a run, it kind of flushes down. Now, I don't know if those flushes have anything to do with stock offerings, but you also have to remember how some of these healthcare and biotech companies work. They still have to raise money to kind of fund their research and do whatever other things that they need to get done. So again, being the repeat offender that it is, I would definitely be wary of the parabolic move kind of coming back in. But again, until it's there, it does seem to go on a multi-day run. And today, it seems like it is day 1. Again, looking back at the higher time frame right here, just to kind of reiterate what Neil was talking about, every time that it has ran in the past, we can just take a look at the samples from earlier on this year. You can see in December, we ran for a couple of days, multiple days building up into it, but look at the catastrophic flush if and when that does come in. So that is something definitely to be wary about when trading some of these names on ANVS. So other than that, I don't really have too much of a look, but solid trend that it's made off of this volume coming in early to midday, around 11 o'clock, it would seem.
Tesla, what a day. Up about 8.5% right now, is up almost 10 at the high. This is the headline, guys. So they they produced 411,000 cars, but look at the deliveries, 444,000 cars. What does that tell you? That means that they basically delivered everything that they produced, and they had excess inventory from last quarter that they were able to move. That's quite bullish, in my opinion. Dan Ives coming out yesterday and saying that he expected a surprise beat for deliveries today, and right he was. Tesla, great look, guys. Trying to recover in that 227 area. What's the look?
227. We're back to the Jeffersons. All roads lead to $227. Just very quickly, but Amazon is not on the list, so we got to go over the trades that we're in as well. Amazon is making a battle of this $200 level, so I just want to update it. It was able to get to 240. When it broke 200 the 4th time, I actually added on the way up when it made a fresh high. I just dipped down to 200. If we make a new low here, I'm just going to jump out of the trade. The trend since the first test of 200, the trend is holding forward. If it can't hold this trend locally since the first failed break of 200, then I think this could flush all the way down into 199. So I don't want to get trapped. I bought out in front of it. We'll give it up if we have to. But Tesla, We talked about there being no fly zones shorting Tesla. I tried it once and got away from it. It would have been good. It actually would have worked into VWAP, but I just wasn't a huge fan of it. I don't want to draw any lines in there. An early long, when the news hit, it's easy to look at this and say you could have just gone long at the beginning, but if you were watching, and anyone that was watching the live show, it did get to 215, pull back to 206, go to 213, pull back to like 209. Like, it was all over the place. Then when the market opened up was your opportunity to get it along here off of 218, 219. That was your spot to go into the long. I got out too early. Obi, you held till 227. Great address.
Still too early.
Great show. But wow, unbelievable day for Tesla, 8.5%. I don't wonder if it's not the Rivian show this afternoon, though, if it can break 15.
Yeah, absolutely crazy move on deliveries. We know that Tesla, some of the best catalysts on Tesla have been either earnings or delivery numbers. And whenever that delivery comes in, I definitely like to anchor that VWAP to that delivery volume kind of come in. And we did that this morning, and I guess it worked out quite well as when it pulls back into that area where the average volume is sitting, the average participant is sitting. Off of the news that comes in, it holds that at that 218, and then again, if you have some charting done on Tesla, that 217, just shy of 217 is a little bit of a key level as well, in my opinion, and we held that in the pre-market quite well as well. So it's like, all right, well then we accelerated all the way to 231. Definitely could have done much better on this trade here. Kind of accumulated some inventory on that churn above anchored, and then took more through the break. But getting out too early, I got out most of my I guess shares in and around that 225, and then kind of aggressively added back in right underneath 228 when I was like, all right, well this is in my opinion this is likely to push for 30s. But stopped out before it even kind of breaks trend. You see that trend break doesn't even happen till 230 later on at around 1040-ish right here. Just this, I guess, this trend that comes off of the break of the morning high. But since then, we've just been trading sideways on a delivery numbers that Tesla has taken extremely well. Another thing to note is that the market has given us a very strong tailwind throughout the day. So nice move on Tesla.
Ocean Power Technologies, great day today, about 75% in the clear. It's a penny stock. It's trading around 40 some odd pennies right now. I didn't actually have eyes on this during the midday because I filter everything sub 50 pennies. But yeah, they're going to partner up with Unique Group for autonomous vehicles that are supposedly going to serve the Middle East. No real information as to what kind of technology they're going to use, but a good look nonetheless, 75% in the clear, guys. Did you have a look at this one?
I did, and I know a lot of people, I feel like this probably wins, gets on the list for what it was doing earlier more than sort of what's happening now on OPTT. So look, it's up 75%. There's no denying it's been strong, but I would argue that any trend it had going has broken for about an hour or so, and I don't wonder if like the excitement is in a lot of other names. Rivian's about to break $15 any second now. Tesla's going nuts. Amazon's at 200. The futures are at the highs. Nvidia's trying to curl. Like, you see what I'm getting at here. There's a lot of other things which have probably grabbed attention. You had that ANVS, which also came out of, I don't want to say out of nowhere, but certainly is grabbing a lot of the volume. GameStop's trying to break out the highs as well. It's hard to imagine this is going to be the one. To its credit, on the 15-minute, you've still got higher highs and higher lows. So the channel and the trend is still overall real good on this time frame. I wonder if those might actually line up really well. So all I would say is if you're trading OPTT, I think what you want to look at is the higher lows since about 10 o'clock and the higher highs. Like when it made that top, look at the bottom. It's like kind of like a long off this trend, which is currently 46, and maybe you can get to 58. If it breaks out the top of the trend, great. But is it really going to go? I know the volume's good. It's like 500 million shares. I just look over at what else is going wild here. Yeah, GameStop just broke the high of the day. Rivian is about to take out 15. So, look, the eyeballs for me are going to be on Amazon, Rivian. I'm in Nikola, but that's an old trade. I'm in PSNY, but that's an old trade. and probably GameStop. So I don't know if OPTT is going to work for me, but that channel, worthwhile. It's been holding that trend pretty well. If you're trading off of it, good on you.
Yeah, I think a little bit of a, maybe potentially a better swing trade, it would seem, as it kind of has a little bit of a liquidity trap happening here. Again, OPTT, another one of these repeat offenders. If you do kind of look back at it, it has these aggressive moves, which it tends to fade back off. But today, or for the past few days, it seems like it's doing a little bit of a different kind of dance here. Ocean Power Technologies, you can see that the move kind of started on Wednesday. Now, I don't know, I'm not too familiar with what the catalyst is, not really a name on my radar, but again, it is definitely looking like it has provided a decent amount of opportunity with relative volume as well. You can see that initial day was doing thousands of RVol, kind of, I guess, no, that's just that one candle. So hundreds of RVol, sorry, on that initial day. And then we kind of hold some of these levels, 15, 20 pennies hold, breakout of the 26 happens going into the close yesterday, kind of suggesting a bit of a squeeze. And look at that squeeze come in real nice right off of the open today, all the way up to 50 pennies from when it was only trading at, I guess, 13 pennies a couple days ago, but we wouldn't have probably known about it until it started doing some RVol and some volume with some momentum in and around 20 to 25 pennies. And it's done about 100% of that move. But in terms of an intraday, yeah, not really too much here, kind of chopping sideways as of right now. Maybe it's not done yet. I don't know what the short float on this ticker is, but right here we can figure out what the share float is, and it's only 56 million shares float on a 50 penny ticker, so gotta watch out for that one.
Apple, one of 3 magnificent 7 names that printed all-time highs today, is trying right now to get back above that 220 area, having trouble with $220. No real headline, but this piece came out. So they're looking at releasing 2 new versions of the Vision Pro. One is said to be more consumer grade, smaller, cheaper. The other one going to be more professional grade for healthcare and other uses. Expected to be released early next year. We already saw what version 1 looked like. Already, guys, building on version 2.
Yeah, the look for Apple has been like dip buy opportunities off of the open. Ooh, my 15's got this dark pool candle. Imagine you could actually get those fills. You wouldn't have to do much work trading. You just stink bet every day. But no, that's just a dark pool fill. Every single day, you get like a little wick and then a run, wick down and then a run. This was no continuation. Wick down tried to go and then failed, but for the most part, the big up days have started with like a little consolidation, red candle. There's another one in there, the big one down in 207. So I was, if you go back and watch the morning show, okay, fine. I did say, dip buy Apple in 215, like this level in here. That said, at 9:30, any guesses what stock everyone and their mother was trying to execute on? Tesla. So you're not getting this trade if you're taking Tesla. End of story. I tried. It's been an absolute. If you don't get it early, it's been a chop fest ever since. VWAP's not even a thing in there. So I tried getting in when it consolidated 219.20, just no good. The 220 level is a pretty significant top that it's trying to punch through. Can't get through that. 220.40 needs to break. So I think you're getting a little top heavy here in Apple, and if this thing can't break 220.5, maybe you scalp some shorts. I don't know. But I think Tesla is going to be the interesting one this afternoon. Rivian in this $15 level. Apple needs to break it out. No question about it. It would be nice if it did. How many stocks have we seen that made from fresh highs today? Apple, Amazon, Microsoft as well. I don't know about Google. I don't think Google did, but Microsoft. Apple just needs to follow suit. Until it does, there's a host of other names that are doing a little bit better volume. Or not volume, but better movement. GameStop even. If GameStop wants to continue this rally, it's been struggling at this 24 level, but if it can hold the higher low here, the volume is definitely with this as well. So there's lots of things to look at. Apple just needs to break that high. Can't get there yet.
Yeah, no, Apple kind of pushes prior all-time highs, 22.20s, only about 14 pennies worth. and then pulls back in, I guess, which looks like to around VWAP right there. Yeah, so it kind of comes right back into VWAP. 218s pushing back again. Now again, I'm going to mention this again. Markets are super strong today. We have pushed over 100, I guess over 150, 300 points almost. Starting off just hovering above 19,900. Now trading above 20,200 here on the NQ, and then we started off at just hovering above 5,005 on the ES, and now we're trading about 50 points above on the ES there. So nice little strong trend happening there, and we're seeing that sentiment across the board on we're seeing that kind of sentiment across the board here with Apple pushing for those highs. Let's see what we got in store. 220s are right there, but yeah, that hold on VWAP, super strong market tailwind. Let's see where we go from here. 220 is going to be interesting, I think, going forward. We only violated the high by 14 pennies and pulled back.
How come I'm not here? There's some movement on Paramount, but I don't know. I'm gonna get to Rivian. Rivian broke that 15 in a second, but I did just see a volume spike there as Paramount's been trending to the upside. I haven't heard or seen anything just yet. So if we get something on the wire for that name, we'll let you guys know. I mean, Paramount, okay, it's up 4%. That's all well and good. So I'm on the 15-minute for Rivian because like it was a scalp trade earlier, but I think with that Volkswagen news now 7.5%, doing good volume. Suddenly it's like a different trade here. If it can break back out, so I did add to this. I had 90s, and then I added on the actual break 91s and added at 01s when 15 broke. So my average price will be 96. But I look at this little peak here. If it can take out 15.15, I don't know if I want to add through 15.15, but I want this to take you into 15.5 where I take some out. But I'm now starting to think bigger move on Rivian. Maybe it happens, maybe it isn't. Darwin just has it. Oh, it just hit my wire too as well. Paramount talks to sell BET Network for $1.6 billion. Ooh. Still worth that much? Yeah, so look, yeah, that might not do it for Paramount. I don't know if that's going to be enough to get Paramount through the highs. We know this is what they're trying to do. There's talk of selling off like individual properties they have, like who wants to pick up pieces, who wants to partner with them. So I don't know if that's going to get this going through the high of the day. You want something a little bit bigger. Barry Diller in the IAC. I think it's an older story, DJ Marshall. The new one here is that they're in talks to sell BET for $1.6 billion. When you factor Paramount market cap is 6.6, so that's a decent chunk for them. I think I can respect that. It's a decent chunk for them, but ultimately not sure that's the news that's going to get it through the high of the day.
Yeah, no, I'm curious. What are they trying to raise money or something by piecing off sections of their company, or like what's they're trying to?
I mean, dying traditional business. Yeah. And then
trying to get it off their hands.
Huge competition in the space. Mm-hmm. I think you have a lot of things going on there that. I mean, you're going to get some consolidation in the space. So if they figure that getting themselves more trim is going to make them more attractive to somebody to pick up. Yeah. Then that makes a lot, you'd start doing little things like that. So I guess trimming, raise a little bit of cash by trimming because maybe whoever might acquire them might not be interested in BT. I don't know. I'm just speculating. Fair, yeah. So until we get some real news, we got to work off just what we hear. So we'll see. We'll keep our ear to the ground with that. We mentioned Amazon. Oh, yeah, Amazon did not hold on to that 200 level.
I mean, it's holding on for now.
It is. It's just, I was just in it, and it couldn't get past 250. Yeah. So I think we just need to let it calm down, maybe show a little bit more strength, let the volume come back into it. It's really trailed off here. I want to leave the 15-minute up for you guys. You can see how the volume's just trailing off on this breakout. Let's see it ramp back up again. That can happen.
Softy broke trend.
Can definitely, Softy broke the uptrend?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, we're holding very distinctly since, 12:15. I'm looking at a 15-minute chart, and we've only been printing, green candles since 12:15, and it's what time is it? It's 2:23. So about almost 2 hours. 2 hours. It's just been printing straight up, and this is the first red candle that is forming. So Softy may be the first one to kind of buck its trend here. Let's see if that kind of leads the way. Who else am I looking at? I'm looking at Goggle here. Google also attempting to print one of its, or a red candle here, but we have printed reds along the way there. But again, since 12:15, we haven't really caught as much of a pullback across the board, right? So it's like, all right, cool. Maybe Softy will lead this this pullback down. It could also kind of rebid right back up and push the highs as well. But I'm kind of keeping that in mind as Softy takes a little bit of a breather. Who's next? If we are going to take a pullback here, is it Amazon? Is it Google? Nvidia still holding underneath that 123, right? So I'm kind of keeping eyes on that as well. Now, a couple of other names that I know are moving around as well today. Let's take a quick look at Tesla. Tesla bid all the way back up. We talk about that. I guess anchored coming in. That's where buyers were in the morning there. The anchored VWAP being this blue line, and then look, it kind of comes back in, breaks that consolidation low, and then gets right above VWAP or anchored VWAP, printing a low of 225.87 before bidding right back up into this range there. So I guess Tesla is kind of strong. I know Meta has been moving around as well. Let's take a quick look at Meta. Meta's super strong in terms of a trend as well. Let's see what's happening around 12:15. Yeah, look at that. That's when the bid kind of catches. So maybe Meta is already taking a little bit of a breather there. Yeah, it seems like Meta might be the first one here. Let's also take a look at Netflix as well. Okay, so Netflix not really as strong. Now another top constituent, I know we don't really take a look at that often, is Berkshire. And Berkshire printing fresh highs, but the trend is not as clear or as straightforward as some of these other constituents in the market here. So yeah, there's a quick look there. Probably going to get stopped out of this trade if we kind of continue to go higher. But then again, like I don't want to be too early if we are going to revert this. It's also 2:30 almost, so I don't know. Maybe potentially reversions may not be as clean or as straightforward going into the end of the day, especially when we have a strong market here. There goes Softy with a little bit of a bottom wick. Only 3 minutes and 50 seconds left for this 15-minute candle to print here on the Softy, and Spider continues to make fresh highs as well as the ES and the NQ. So got to keep a watch on all of these to kind of capture this potential market move. Are we going to continue higher? Are we going to push back lower? Are we going to have a little bit of relief going into the last couple, I guess, hour and a half of the close there? And also Tesla, can we see that 230 once again? We've held anchored VWAP. That is one of the only places where buyers kind of let it consolidate early on in the day, and when it comes right back into that VWAP area, that's where it catches a bid once again. So interesting price action happening here on Tesla, all the way back up to 229. So gonna stay patient, gonna stay watching. What's up?
That was just regular VWAP, isn't it? That red one.
The red one is regular VWAP.
Okay,
yeah. But here's the anchored.
Yeah, I wanted to see the anchored.
Yeah, so the anchored on Tesla here is pretty much right there. It's
those are converging.
They're not really converging, but they're almost the same now because I guess there's enough volume that's been kind of traded to even that out. But
which, yeah, of course, like when you have that kind of volume going through, you can see a little bit of convergence because of when you're pegging it to. But obviously Tesla is a bit of a rocket ship. There was a question in there. Okay, here goes Rivian again, trying to get through 15. The key level, if it gets to 15.15, then it can really start to go on Rivian. But someone had asked me about Nikola, and there's a phrase I like to say. Well, I say it all the time. It's okay to be wrong. It's not okay to stay wrong. So I could go back and show you guys what happened with PSNY at some point. We'll look at that chart. But Nikola, you knew I like the short. You get in the short, you have an out, it breaks the out, you get out. You have a short to here, it breaks it, you get out. It then comes up to the $8 level. Do I like the $8 level? Let me go to a 15-minute because that'll look way better. Just to let you guys know. It goes to the $8 level. I have an out. You take an out. It goes to the next level up. Try it again. Take an out. If you just try averaging into something like this, you will be, what's going to happen to you is A, you're going to get shut down. B, you're going to lose your entire month or something ridiculous. And C, you're just not going to hang around a while. Like, it's okay to only look a certain direction for a mean reversion trade. Now, eventually, if you take the shots at it, every time tight stop. I even got stopped out that high, and the short that ended up working wasn't a short at the top. Each time I'm trying to get the high, that's not even the one that worked. Each time I'm willing to get out, but it was that last failure. You can see it right there. That last wick, then let's go into the short side. It's holding 830, and it's actually even still pretty darn strong on the day, up that 13%. So at the end of the day, you've got to have outs. I don't mind taking multiple shots at something. Like if you go 1 for 6 on a stock and it didn't destroy you, like we lose, what am I down on? I'm still red on it because you have that many. If you go 1 for 3, I can probably be green on the stock. And it didn't exactly flush into 750 either. It goes all the way back, it'd be fine. But actually a little bit less than half of what we made on Tesla, that one long trade that we took out at 225 is what we'll lose on Nikola. Going 1 for 6 on the stock, 1 for 6. And that's the sort of the thing. Like what are you willing to pay to lose on a stock? It's like, what does that cost? The way I see it, when you get into position and you have a stop order to get out, there's the amount of shares you have and there's that level of stop and then there's slippage. That's the amount that you are paying to be in the trade. Once you've paid it, you're now down that amount of money. That's the way I look at it. That's X. I know what I'm down on the stock. And then it's just a matter of making it back with the stock going in your favor. But if you don't start from there, it's like, what's that other saying? Like if you don't believe in anything, you'll fall for everything. Yeah, if you don't believe in something, you'll fall for everything or something along those lines. If you don't, and that's the same thing with trading. Like if you don't believe that you're wrong at a certain point or right at a certain point, then nothing is ever going to work for you. Everything is going to be an utter mess. You've got to draw some kind of a line in the sand both ways. Whether it's holding on till 227 on Tesla, or it's, I believe this is a short, but I'm getting out if this happens, and I'll just wait till the next level. Do what you got to do. Rivian can't seem to break that 15 level a second time, so we're still working with the bigger trend here. I don't want to draw a line on Rivian again, but I was in it. Actually had one last short when it broke this trend. Would have been nice, obviously, if the news hit and I could have just quickly reversed it, but I had a stop order when Rivian broke that trend in. It was a good-looking short-off trend, but the news happened. Now you're breaking out the top. I'm not adding again through this break up here, but I'd like to see this start to go. It's getting a little ridiculous here. Still getting a decent pullback in GameStop. I got eyeballs on this 2024, 15 level, which was the previous high. It's trending down. If it can break this trend down and get back to the upside and pick up the volume, that could be something. But for now, it's just Rivian. Oh yeah, Polestar, I said at some point I would show you the chart. I doubt I'm going to have any executions on Polestar, so I'm just going to get this one out of the way. When everyone was saying Tesla was going crazy, it's like, well, you could short Tesla or you could short Polestar, which failed a double top yesterday at 97 cents. There, first consolidation was 95. It got all the way to the low of the day, held on to a piece for the dream. My trail is actually at 90. It should be at 89. I'll just change that now.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Got to know that's something I have to work on as well. Sticking with the bias and having defined outs and rules for okay, this is what I want to see, and that's how I'm kind of looking to trade it as well. But yeah, no, I definitely resonate with that. That's something I do have to get better at in my trading. So Softy printed that red candle, and we're attempting to push another red right here as of right now, but only about a lot of minutes left to print this 15-minute. I got 12 and a half minutes there on this one, so it did get stopped out of that Amazon 200. Got back in for a little bit more there, but we are trading sideways here. So let's see if we can kind of pull back in. That's what I'd be looking for if I'm expecting this trade to work. But yeah, Softy kind of holding along in and around its highs as well. Apple pulling back off of that 220. So interesting stuff indeed. Like I said, it only pushed prior all-time highs from a few weeks ago by 14 pennies and then pulls back in. And then the whole market goes a little bit sideways, I guess. Nothing too crazy going on. But 229 coming right back in on Tesla here. Also looking like it's starting to go slightly sideways there, but overall it has bounced off of that VWAP quite well for about a 3-point push back up towards the high of this range happening here at that 230, high a day 231 on Tesla there. But other than that, people are, I guess you commented that AMD is going.
Any guesses where it is? Don't look.
Okay, all right. I typed ARM. No, I typed ARM. Look at that. I didn't even type AMD. I typed ARM. So.
But I have it on my screen. That's why.
Fair. Yeah. Okay. So it's pushing highs, I guess. Yeah, that thing is breaking out of. I don't think those are all-time highs, but definitely some highs.
Oh, these are
for sure. Weekly highs? No, not really.
AMD is nowhere close to all-time highs.
Weekly highs, perhaps. I think it's just about to go red to green. Yesterday was red. Yesterday again being Monday, and then today being the second day of the week. We are attempting to push red to green on AMD again, with the market being so strong. So here comes in a little bit of this Amazon. How much further can we pull back here off of that 200? It took a couple of shots to get in there, but I was risking quite tightly on the initial one, and I guess a little bit wider on the second one, and it happens to work out a little bit better here as we start to pull back in. Again, my eyes are on some of these larger cap tickers who may be leading this market in terms of the strength here. Obviously got SPY on watch, Softy again being one of the top market cap names in terms of constituents when it comes to both NQ and the ES. So gotta definitely have that on watch. Amazon taking a bit of a curl as well. We're participating in that. Nvidia as well. Something I want to point out is that Nvidia kind of pulling back as well off of that 23. So that'll definitely give us a little bit of oomph to the downside when you have a ticker like Nvidia. Again, another top 5 constituent of the futures, taking a wee bit of a pullback back into VWAP. And this is what I want to show you guys on Softy here. So 15-minute, let's pull up Softy real quick to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. So right here, look at that, green, boom, prior bar break, and we're getting a little bit of continuation. So prior day high is sitting right here at that 457, 458 area. We're only about 50 pennies away from that on Softy. So the question becomes, do we kind of continue this trend? The trend has been quite strong for over two hours there, and we're taking a little bit of a pullback. So we could just be slowing down for a pit stop before we go any further. But something that is still holding some of its gains is Google. So Google is pushing fresh highs as of right now. Look at that very, very strong trend on the goggle here, and Amazon comes right back into 200. So maybe it's not time just yet, or maybe it might not be time at all. So those are the tickers I have on watch. In terms of SMH, I got my little tech basket, AI basket that I'm watching here as well. Again, AMD, we talk about that being high a day. ARM also has been doing some interesting moves. They're bidding up for most of the day. TQs as well, obviously looking very similar to the Qs, to the NQs here. And of course, VanEck, SMH, like I said, attempting to push high of day as well. That's kind of where we're trading at right now. I guess I got some Dell on here as well. I know that Dell has been interesting over the past couple of days. Yesterday we had quite some strength on Dell, but today just a sideways chop and consolidation. Hasn't necessarily even broken out of its opening range here on Dell. There is some strength happening on Amazon. Oh boy,
Amazon's starting
where's
to come
it going?
back.
It's coming right back.
I could have taken like 5 longs on that stock, but I just decided to cut it short. If Rivian doesn't work, at least it's doing more up top here than Amazon is. So I'm not saying I'm going short on Amazon, but yeah, it just like Rivian, I think, with the news there. And there was a question from Herman B. Is there news on Rivian? Why is it going? It's just Nick. I said Nicola. Yeah, Nicola's got no partnership with Volkswagen. It's Volkswagen expanding, potentially expanding their partnership with Rivian. So that could be big for them. That's why you had a big volume spike, all these green candles. Hasn't been a red candle since the news did drop. I was actually in a short. We were long all morning on this stock, and then it kind of broke trend, and I went into the short trade. And obviously, this is going to the upside. Now, I did get some out 15, 20s. Might buy the dip again. Let's see it calm down, and we might buy the dip one more time here in Rivian. But strong move. There's no such thing as a bad question. If a stock's going and you don't know why, just pop it in the chat. Bears versus Bulls is there. We'll get to it. No questions asked at some point. We'll do our best. GameStop's trying to take out this high again. So GameStop, hey, we said on days where the market might not have the juice for the big cap tech names to follow through, holiday shortened week and all that good stuff, sometimes you got to look elsewhere. So there's a break, new high, pull back into the quarters. I mean, if it takes out the top again, nice little tight consolidation, probably just go for like a high break and give it to the quarters kind of trade on GameStop. Always go the wrong direction with that. You're in the midst of a breakout, so like it just might need some kind of oomph, like someone to cause it to break that high. If it does another pullback, I wouldn't want to get trapped. The volume not nearly as good as Rivian is the problem, I would say, with this name. One thing going for your Amazon trade,
Yes.
and I kind of had this teed up on the 3-minute here, was if you look at the actual fail break, and I had a lot of attempts here. Like the real trade was dipping into 198.
Yes. For the long, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the real trade was dipping into 198. I don't know why I'm hitting the fail. It's because of how many times it took 200.
Is it a failed break?
No, but the 200 fail break, it put in this lower, this higher low here. Since that, you had this trend. Like I was going long on every 200 break as long as it held. Okay, that held, then it failed again. Well, it held. Now you've established a trend on those fail breaks. Well, I was long into that, and when it failed, now look at that trend line. So that's the first fail break, hold, breaks. I get out. This is what I think works for the short. Look at where this thing just curled. You leave a trend line in there, and sometimes it shows you resistance. Probably talking myself into like being in this Amazon short, but I think you should, if I'm following the rule here, I should be short there, 215. And then I would have had a stop in there. I don't think you expand it to the top of the trend line because obviously in that particular case, you're then just losing more as time goes along. That doesn't make any sense. You get in here, you have your stop up at that top at 30, but I'm not in the trade, so it is what it is. OPPT is starting to go again. I do like that name if it can hold that trend line that we had drawn earlier, and it seems like that's exactly what's happening on OPTT. Not OPP. You can't be down with OPP anymore, man. It's a different time. It's a new day, and being down with OPP is no longer cool, apparently.
We always stand at the most interesting places on the 407 and like the highways. It's just.
Huh? Oh, we're talking about completely different. What the hell just happened? What is going on? Okay, you know what? Straight up.
I'm sorry.
You know when something goes ridiculous and like, what are we even talking? Like, usually I would just get up and do a lap. Like I gotta walk away for a minute, but I can't because I got crutches like over here, so I can't even walk away from the desk at that one. Yeah, you know
OPP is Ontario Provincial Police.
I mean, yes.
For those of you
Yes,
who don't
it
know. Yeah, no, I guess that's the provincial. It's a provincial police department.
Yeah, but
they kind of take care of.
Obviously, that's not what I was referring to.
Yes, no, I get it.
You know what I was talking about?
No.
Oh, you don't.
But I knew it was not it.
Other people's property.
Ah, okay. Real estate term.
There's, huh?
Real estate term?
No. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna let the chat get it for you because I'm not even telling you this one. It's not gonna happen. Yes, I'm an old man. But
Yeah,
come
let me
on,
know.
I feel like come on, Randy's on the ones and twos. He knows that one. Big Patty Ice knows what I'm talking about. He'll fire up his hand there. I know you guys know what's up. Yeah, the last P, that's not that simple. Not still
Down with the OPP. No, it's,
yeah, you know me.
no, I'm not familiar. I'm assuming it's from a song now, probably a famous song.
If I do this,
I'm not like.
so they had another song where it's like, hey, ho, hey. No, nothing. Okay, no, it's fine. I'm just gonna continue to embarrass myself
really.
because I'm old.
No, it's like I should be embarrassed. I have no idea what you're
it's
talking
fine.
about.
You're young.
But,
You're young.
yeah, questionable, subjective, but yeah, no. I'll find out what that OPP is eventually.
It's literally being said in the chat every single time. Everyone knows. I said
Opening price print, okay.
No, come on, Naughty by Nature. Naughty by Nature, the hip hop group in the '90s. Oh, that's fine. They're old.
Familiar. I'm not too familiar.
Yeah.
I do have to step up my my music, I guess.
No, I know. I'll let it go. We like having fun with it sometimes. Look, you guys could drop anything recent, and I don't know what the heck is going on. I do know what happened to Rick Ross, though.
Yeah, you were mentioning
That
it
I know.
earlier.
I know what happened.
Yeah.
Usually I don't know some of the new stuff, but believe me, I know what's up. there. We'll leave it. I'm not going to get too many details. You guys can look it up if you want. But back into the market here, which is still testing highs, last I checked,
Bit of a high
and
test.
still pressing further and further. Nvidia, because a lot of people are going to be looking at Nvidia, it just double tapped 122 and 30. If we lose this bid on Nvidia, I think that can be shorted. I got the eyeballs on AMD because, hey, guess where AMD is? 163. Now, the trend is your friend. I get all of that stuff. The trend is obviously your friend, but the rejection of this level has usually been huge. I'm not in the short right now because where's the entry? Just because it's at the price, to me, is not like, oh, you just go short because it hit a line in the chart. No. If you see what happens when it curls here, there's a consolidation rollover. On strength, it has blown through this level in the past. So this has failed 163 on weakness. Lower high, curl, break, can't get past the 50, then fails when it's back under. Breakout early, then fail under. So it needs, for it to be a short, it actually has to take this out, hold 163.5, and then form a short after that. It's not a stand in front of a moving freight train at this price level, no chance. Other people can do it that way, but every time I trade that way when it's this strong, I just get myself into trouble. So if it breaks 163, which it's doing now, it needs to fail up top, show me weakness, and I'll short it on the back end of the trade. I don't need to be dead right at the very beginning and just stick a flag and just say it's going to work. That's a good way to get run over. AMD up 3.5%, looking pretty strong. I'll look for other names that might have some relative weakness in here. ARM, not really doing much. ARM's doing literally nothing. Micron, I'm just going to quickly scan some names here. Micron, how many? There we go. Not doing much. In the midst of a pullback, Micron at least. Yeah, Micron's chart is saying we're not doing anything. Bit of a pullback, bit weaker. I'm going to keep eyeballs on this, but AMD's at the bigger level, 100%. Rivian, oh, I hate you, Rivian, because, hold on a second. I just saw this on Micron. Why are we not long the 50 period on the daily every single day on Micron? Every dip into this 50. What are we doing? This is going to be anything above 128. So what does it do? Yesterday, dip, hold. Yeah, that should be buying higher lows. When you see that hold the 50 period, I mean, the trend, it's not like it's holding the 50 period and doing nothing. It's holding the 50 period and moving. So I think it's holding that 50. Yeah, I'm not looking for any shorts in Micron. Forget that. Even if it works, I don't want it. So still nothing happening on Rivian. This is starting to look eerily like a failed breakout through this high. Not a huge fan of that. So we wanted to be a power move into 15.5, maybe even 16, as Rivian got that news with Volkswagen possibly expanding, but this is starting to look like a failed breakout through that high. So no ad for me. It gets under 1480, got to jump out.
Yeah, there's
not looking as strong as it was before.
There's some aggression happening here on Tesla as it bids right back up through that 229. I was just watching the tape here. Just a lot of buying happening there. Some size on the bid as well. Gets taken out, but 229 is holding as of right now. Range highs at that 230 as well, and we're kind of rocketing up after we've pulled back in. Again, looking for that reversion. That reversion to VWAP happens. I guess what time is this? Is that 1:30? I guess going into 1. So that 230 price is the high of consolidation. The low was in and around that 227s. You can see that wick down there. And then when we did break down, we did fall about a point there. By then, VWAP had kind of creeped its way up all the way up into 226s. Comes into 226s, catches a bid on top of VWAP, and that's the only last place where we saw it catch a significant bid right off of the open at VWAP. So it seems like VWAP buying is the, I guess, story on Tesla today, and it is holding up quite well, pushing right back into 230s, high of consolidation range right here as of right now. Going into the end of the day, only about 13 minutes left until power hour, and about 12 minutes left until power hour, and also this 15-minute candle to print. We were talking about some of these other tickers taking a little bit of a pullback here. Softy printed a second red candle there, and we were talking about Google was very strong, attempted to push highs, and then now it's starting to catch a little bit of a curl as well. But take a look at the NQ and the ES pushing for fresh highs. So that kind of I'm asking who's the one. that is potentially carrying this market, and as of right now, it seems like it is Apple. Apple pushing for that 220.34 day high. 220.20s was prior highs, and we're chilling right there as of right now. Again, a VWAP hold. It seems like this is the case on a lot of tickers today, as the VWAP has come in quite well, quite strongly. Again, some of these tickers very extended off of VWAP, Amazon being a prime example of that extension, kind of pushing right back up into 200 as well. So yeah, super, super strong. More than willing to get out of this trade if it's going to stop me out in and around that 200. But going into power hour, we have been bidding up quite aggressively for a majority of the day. So I will be looking for a potential reversion. There goes Apple through fresh highs. That's definitely going to bring in some strength across the board. Let's see who has that bit of strength. So I guess none of the top 7 that I just mentioned are really exhibiting that kind of ump like Apple as of right now in terms of pushing their day highs. But something to note is that the spider definitely is. Spider being reflective of the ES here. So the spider and the NQ pushing for fresh highs on the day. AMD as well, another one. TQs, obviously. SMH as well. Intel taking a little bit of a recovery from its lows, about a 50% reversion of the reversion, if I can get this window down here. Take a look at Intel right here. So strong move right off of the open. We were talking about 3130s. Comes in, pulls back into 3060s, 3070s, which happens to confluence with prior days and Friday's levels as well. Catch a bid off of that, reclaiming VWAP and retracing more than, I guess, in and around 50%. I would say a little more than 50% of this strong down move that we've had here on Intel today. So some of these chip-related names doing quite well. Again, some of these tickers even pushing for all-time highs. Here comes back a little bit of a pullback here. 229's coming right back in on Tesla. So we've been bidding up. Are these bids going to hold here? Do we kind of make a similar trend as we had in the morning, where we had pretty much no real relief until we tested 231? 231, 230s, and then sideways action. So let's see, on a pullback on Tesla, are we going to catch a bid going into the last hour of the day? Only about 10 minutes left, actually 9 minutes left for both the hour to come in and this 15-minute candle to print. The NQ and the ES are super strong, man.
And yeah, that power hour is going to be brought to you by Benzinga. Ever wonder how pros find these winning trades right at the opening bell like Tesla? Most of us scrambling to find headlines, finding ourselves way behind the move. But that's where Benzinga Pro comes in. It's the fastest way to trade the news with exclusive alerts up to 30 minutes before other traders, real-time market insights, and a thriving community of over 6,000 traders sharing their strategies. And right now, you can try Benzinga Pro for the lowest price we offer during our July 4th sale. Use the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description box to join Benzinga Pro today. And I can tell you guys, I can tell everybody out here, this morning and at all times, in my ear right now, I got Benzinga. This morning when the Tesla news hit, everyone was waiting for delivery numbers. That's where you're going to be able to get it. When Boeing has bad news every single day, it seems like, and we're looking for those shorted opportunities, that's what we're listening to. So you want action in the afternoon. You want the stocks that are moving. That's why it's so important. And look, you're going to have us available, but sometimes you need that whisperer in your ear to make sure you're trading the things that are going. And so glad we didn't just stick a line, just go short on that line in the chart on AMD. Because now this is the setup that we're looking for. So it's breaking out that 163. That's, again, just, why is this still on a 1 minute? I'm going to move it back to a 3 minute. I just prefer trading off a 3 minute chart, to each their own. But when I go back into the 15, this is the move. If it can hold underneath this 163.5, then curl, then I will look for the short underneath. That is the price that we care about. That Amazon, the level I was looking at was like 210, or 200 and then 15 to 20 cents. And then you give it to the 25.30. It is really consolidating up here. Yeah. Like all kinds of consolidation. But if it can't really break out this second lower high, it does feel like a good opportunity for a potential short trade. Rivian's still, I'm long 14.99. Rivian's at 15 even. So, it's like 1 cent in the money. It gets more exciting if it breaks out that high one more time. So we got to be patient waiting for that Rivian. Randy just came.
I was like,
Randy
who is
just
this?
piped in and said, "Show me a Lucid chart." Okay, Randy, we'll show a Lucid chart. Dump it. Lucid up 5%. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, Rivian's up 7.5%. Just throwing that out there. I mean, after the pullback, Nikola's even up more than Lucid today. So this is a Lucid chart. I don't know what's so exciting here, Randy. Give me a reason why we. I mean, it's breaking out. There's your 50 period. You're looking for the breakout. So here, let's do some work on Lucid. You could argue that it's already broken this latest local trend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You could
done it
go
a few times, yeah.
But like, what? Look at this thing. Like, where's the continuation on any of these breaks? So it's kind of, I don't know. That's not even a good trend line. I feel like that's almost forcing it to draw that trend line. But where's the continuation? Yeah, it's consolidating above. But where's the expanded volume? Give me a day above this channel with expanded volume, and then let's go. But Lucid, if it's going to go to 350, you're going to be able to get in somewhere. I just feel like the other names are the more exciting ones. Wow, Microsoft.
Is it still going?
Is it still going?
Oh boy, okay, all right, cool, yeah.
Microsoft is most certainly still going. As I'm watching, Tesla can't break 230. Apple attempted the high and then pull right back. So I have Apple not breaking the high of the day. I have the high of the day is Apple 220 and 35 cents. I have it getting to 220.34 and pulling back. So Apple still hasn't broken the top, which can be a good thing because that means we could still have a breakout on Apple, but it's definitely Microsoft. Microsoft is the one going like right now, right here, right now.
Yeah. This is so crazy here. Like, take a look at this Apple. Like, yeah, 234. I guess 2034 is the high as of this candle. Actually, no, this high right here is at 33. The prior high is at 34. So we pretty much came in about 1 penny distance from a day high, and now we're pulling right back in. Again, 4 minutes left on this 15-minute candle, so interesting action nonetheless. Is this a double top? We only test within a penny of that prior high a day, which again, doesn't happen very often, but I guess that is something to kind of consider and watch for. Indeed, are the markets taking a little bit of a breather here? Again, going into that last power hour with about 4 minutes left on the clock here to finish printing some of these. I guess not only just a 15-minute candle, you got the 30 minutes closing, you got the hourlies closing as well. So maybe a lot of different players definitely looking at the charts in and around the hourly closes there. So interesting price action nonetheless. About a penny off of those highs. So yeah, maybe we are poised for a little bit of a pullback, but Microsoft, super strong here. MS.
You can say it.
What?
It's
I was gonna say stupid strong. Yeah.
You can say.
No, I was gonna say that, and I was like, yeah. No, and I also wanted to say super stupid strong is softy, but no, I'm not trying to, I guess, inflict bias on the market right there. It is definitely strong. I don't know about stupid, but very strong on the day here. Again, clipping some of these previous highs there. High a day 49.16. High of this candle is 49.08. So only about 8 pennies away from the high there. Apple pulling back even more. So let's see. Let's take a quick look at Apple. Are we going to take? Wow, look at that. That candle just went from green to red with only about 3 minutes left to print double top highs on Apple as of right now. Where is the bid? The bid has come in. The last time I've seen it, or it's been shown on the chart, was on top of VWAP here, just shy of that 219 area. So let's see if we can kind of come back into the bid, or we hold some of this trend. You can see that this trend, this kind of trend off of that move that we held on VWAP has been holding quite nicely. Sure, a little bit of wiki action initially, but once it kind of holds and starts to trend, it has been pretty clean nonetheless, all the way from 218s to 219s. And now we're taking a little bit of a pullback with this candle coming to a close in about 2 minutes. So you can see the timer right there, 2 minutes. That candle, the 15-minute candle nonetheless, went green to red on the softy, so maybe looking for a potential pullback. The NQ and the ES can't stop, won't stop, still looking very strong. Haven't really pulled back, but 229 comes up all the way to 229.70s here on Tesla. So it does hit the top of the range. And guess what's been happening at the top of the range since the morning session there? A little bit of selling, a little bit of selling, a little bit of selling. And we're getting more of the same here after testing the high of that range, just shy of that 230 mark on Tesla, coming right back in. So let's see if we can pull back, maybe catch a little bit of a breather here. Oh boy, is this market stupid strong.
I agree. It is stupid strong, but the stupid's maybe that. Whatever. You guys know what I mean. You don't mean stupid like it doesn't make any sense. Microsoft makes sense. A good company.
Doesn't have to make sense.
Leading the market doesn't have to make sense.
But it has to make sense.
Or dollars.
I've heard you say that before.
Yeah. I have said that before. And thank goodness, oh my goodness, thank goodness AMD, we're waiting for it to do some kind of an indication of a top. So it does press and press and press. Now it just wicked 164. So that is some kind of a reversal candle. I didn't get Amazon 17s up there. So I'm just going to go to like 15 or something. I didn't actually get that 17 level. 217 cents, no fill for me. But that's my fault. But now you're starting to come back in here. I'd love to see, give me like a lower high and then some kind of like a trend in, not just chase this move and assume this is going to be the top, but it does look like you're getting the pullback. I might nibble in here on Amazon shy of that 17. I'm getting way too picky, way too picky. But this is the level we're waiting for on AMD. It is starting to pull back. I do have to, I'm still feeling like Rivian, like that bigger move that we're looking for. It's like, yeah, now it's really looking like a rejection. The other thing that I didn't mention about Rivian is check it out. 200 period moving average is exactly where the resistance is. That's not great. So it's at the 200 period. It's kind of failing this 15. I'm just going to tighten my stop up. It was at 80. I'm just going to tighten the stop to 90. That's one way. If you don't like it as much, you can do a couple of things. You can take some out. You can tighten your stop. There's a couple of things that you're able to do to mitigate that risk. But yeah, that's looking like more of a rejection candle every minute that passes here. And I might think about jumping into a short if it breaks that 90 level as well. Randy now wants to look at XOM. Right. But
XOM or XLM?
We just hit power hour, by the way, as well. So you have 1 hour to go. Certainly this market is capable of doing just about anything. But you need to take out this high. What's going to get us to take out the high? Apple needs to take the high of the day. Microsoft already going. Tesla can't break its highs currently. Amazon can't seem to break highs either. I just jumped in. I ended up taking 05s instead of 15s. So distinction without a difference.
Yeah, my average not the best, but yeah, I think up there in the teens is definitely a good place. But even better than that is like up here in the 30s, right? 30s or 20s, the break of trend happened there. But we've been kind of chopping sideways. Can definitely print a lot of these prices before really getting anywhere. And I guess I'm looking for a pullback, again, on a very strong name that is following the beta on the day today. So I do have to be a little wary of that end-of-day action here as we start off in the last hour of the day. But yeah, take a look at Apple, man. Apple, I guess that's the one I should be sitting short in. As I guess we talk about chart patterns, we talk about price action. That price action is a little bit distinct when it comes in only about a penny. Again, this it shows, I guess, a little bit of weakness, I guess. On the initial push, you come into prior all-time highs at 220.20, and it only goes about 14 pennies up. Second test comes in about 1 penny shy of high a day, and that selling comes back in. So unless and until that selling kind of lifts, it seems like that might be a little cause for concern up here on Apple in and around some of these prices, 220.30s, 220.20s as well. And Amazon still chopping and churning this 200. So yeah, not really looking at too much else. AMD still pushing for fresh highs here, and I guess. Wow, so McDonald's was on my radar a couple days ago for an unusually aggressive selling that happened on Friday if you pull up the chart, and it seems like a little bit of a continuation we've been having over the past couple of days. So maybe it's a bit of a hidden menu here on this McDonald's trade happening over the past couple of days. So let's take a quick look at this one here. I know a lot of eyes are definitely not on this, But in terms of price action and chart, seems like that continuation came in pretty hot and heavy as McDonald's kind of dropping down below that 250 I guess, off of the open there. You attempt to push, but look at that selling that happened. And when I was doing my scans over the weekend, I was like, wow, that McDonald's sell-off is a little distinct. There's definitely somebody, I don't know who, but somebody definitely selling this. This is a 15-minute chart. Look at those prior bar highs, not even violated, consolidates for not even, I guess, a couple, what is that, 4 or 5 candles here on the 15, so maybe an hour and a half roughly there, and then flushes even harder to the downside. Next day coming in on Monday, more of the same, and coming in today as well, continuation to the downside below that 250 here. Not a happy meal on this one for the longs, below that 260 mark as of right now. So let's take a quick look at the higher, at the higher time frame. Wow, take a look at that. We came into some resistance here at that 300 mark on McDonald's and comes right back into prior support. What is that level? I am curious to know. 245.73. So we might be seeing that level might be definitely on the menu coming up in potentially the next couple of weeks. This is a weekly chart, so we don't know if it will come in this week. Again, shortened week this week, but this is the last time where we caught an aggressive bid on a much higher time frame here on McDonald's, right off of that 246 mark. Now again, McDonald's definitely a little bit of a staple ticker here. It has only gone up if you kind of held through some significant fluctuations. Wow. But that COVID low, oh boy, I was like, okay, well, McDonald's is definitely not going anywhere there, and that 125 low has held quite well on this name.
Well, kind of everything that's any good, all the good stocks, if you zoom out far enough, everything's going up. That's any good. So I think that's always important to remember.
Stocks only go up. Yeah,
100%. And good luck, Rec Mayhem. Thank you for clarifying that. I want that ANVS stock to work. We're talking about that Parkinson's name, ANVS. Man, I really hope that works out for them. But AMD, we said wait for a setup. Okay, so there's your wick top through 164. It sets up a lower high underneath 164. I'm short here. Intention was like 75 and give it to the even. But we got 73s. It's one shot. If it doesn't hold this top, we just jump out of the trade. We scalp it to 163. If it breaks 163, we hold some for the previous top, like 62 to 62.5. That's the plan of action for the trade. Rivian's trying again. It's at like, it got to 15.10, now it's back at 15 even. So same thing going on with Rivian, which is just over and over again. It battles that 15 level and not much happening else. This ANVS though, there's VWAP. It's trying to go off VWAP. Look at the hold at $9, the consolidation break. If there's a late day rally in this stock, it's power hour now. Sometimes it just pulls back into an obvious level and gets going again. So this does look juicy, ANVS. I kind of bungled the short. You guys can see that up there. Yay, look at me bungling that short. It's a very steep upward trend. It's a huge rejection. Probably needs to break 10 or hold VWAP if you're looking at it. But my new one is going to be AMD. And we waited for it. This was the price area that we wanted, some kind of a curl up here. If it makes a fresh high, this thing could gap fill to 166. Like, look at these tops, 66, 67. There's only so much you want to give it. Sure, it could pull back in. But if it keeps on going, do you want to ruin everything by shorting it all the way up for another $2? I would be inclined to say no, but that's just me. Everyone to each their own. Nicola, I'm going to get out of this one, as it looks like it's going to tag. If it breaks $8, I'm jumping out at this level here, about 785, 790. So we're going to get a Nicola. Nicola is continuing to break down. I had it like 6 times. We go 1 for 6 on Nicola. That's it. At the end of the day, you just make sure you have an out each time. It's this one that I'm mostly upset about because there's no need for that short. Like, I didn't have to stop out at 9.10. And every now and then, like, you get a little bit too cute when you see size or you see a level, and instead of just giving it to where it should be given to technically, like 920 is where that short needs to go to, you'll watch the tape and you'll convince yourself that there's another level you want to trade off of. You never want to do that. If you're trading technically, then use your stops technically and that kind of good stuff. Sometimes there's a huge number out there on the level 2, but other times it's just going to get you lost in the sauce, to steal one of your terms there.
Oh, yes. Speaking of all the way up, I was waiting for my Uber earlier today, and I definitely missed that ride there. Take a look at that reversion happening. If I can put the screen, there we go. So look at that reversion happening. Absolutely beautiful. Kind of comes in, grabs prior day lows, drops down to 68.88s, and look at that, beautiful. All the way back up, kind of mimicking what it did yesterday off of VWAP right there. So as soon as that trend breaks, reversion to VWAP, and then it gives you some more. Same thing happening today here. Not really doing too much volume here. Not really, I guess, catalyst driven, but a strong sell-off off of the open. Back-to-back days, and both days, I guess yesterday we reclaimed about 30% of the reversion, and then today over 50% of the morning move was reverted here on Uber, so I definitely have to watch out for that. Can't be missing out on plays like this. I got to be there for when the ride is, when the ride is there. So Uber coming in quite well.
I like Uber.
Reversion. It's been, I guess I'm gonna have more eyes on this. If it's gonna continue doing the same thing over and over again, back-to-back days, I don't know. The third day maybe not the best, I guess, but when it kind of mimics it the second day coming in, definitely worth keeping it on radar. I did have it on my in-play list this morning, and yeah, I guess I got to do better with getting involved with tickers I have on my in-play list when they actually set up for trades that I am familiar and comfortable with. But yeah, so a little bit of a pullback happening here on the NQs. Let's see how much further we can pull back. One of the second red candle after, again, 12:15, 11:15 on this chart, because I think what is it? That's Chicago time right there on these charts. But yeah, look at that second red candle, maybe catching a little bit of a breather going into the last trading hour of the day. We have been pretty much only ticking up for majority of the day here on the futures. So let's see if some of that pullback on the futures can bring us in as well. I guess some of the other tickers that I'm watching to kind of show us a bit of a pullback as well are, again, Apple. Apple still holding, pulling back off of those highs that we talked about, 220-30s. Softy, not as much. Softy holding up quite well, and then Nvidia as well. So obviously Amazon as well. We're still chopping and churning in and around this 200. I don't know how much longer this is going to happen for, but we only have about 50 minutes left going into the trading day and about 4 minutes left for this 15-minute candle to print. So let us know in the chat, what have you guys been trading today? Did you guys take opportunities on Tesla? Did you take it in the morning? Did you take it in the evening where it kind of failed that morning push and reverted all the way back down to VWAP from 231s to 226s there, making incremental lower highs and lower lows all the way down into VWAP where it finally caught a bid? Have you guys taken the market move? The market has been quite aggressive and strong, so one could argue that the market is in play, even though a lot of these other tickers are pushing their all-time highs there. The market definitely a great vehicle to be catching said opportunities, as again, one of the biggest arenas as well are the futures. Yep. And I know that some people trade currencies. I know the Dixie was moving around as well today a little bit. So yeah, let us know what you guys have been trading. Kurt Hoffman talking about Shop. All right, let's talk some Shop here on Shopify. So, yeah, Shopify. I always mess it up with Spotify, but yeah, no, Shop is Shopify.
Hold on a second.
What's going on? Yes, of course, Canadian company. So Shopify here, yeah, nice little push. Again, strong sell-off yesterday. I was kind of watching this yesterday for, again, another little bit of a reversion trade, as it was a little extensively sold off of the morning session there. And it seems like we got some continuation here right off of the open, pulls back 64 halves. Can't really break back any further below that. That also happens to be some of this end of day consolidation chop as well. So that 64 halves holds and pushes up into 66s, some of these prior levels of resistance or support turn resistance here on Shopify. So nice little push there. Yeah, okay. Mohammed talking about Microsoft. All right, so Microsoft, yeah, we know what that's doing. Microsoft pushing for its highs as well. Zolia talking about Google. I'm thinking probably the one with the L, the Class A shares, do trade a little bit, I guess, slightly different prices there than the Class C shares, which is just the Goog. But yeah, very, very strong trend. If you're looking to kind of find a vehicle that has been mirroring the futures very closely, look no further. Goggle is the one to be looking through here for that move on the way up. Very, very strong on the day as well. Apple, not really. Let's see who else. Okay, so I guess Ty Bryant saying McDonald's. Yeah, definitely McDonald's. Decent move there. Again, missed ticker on my part. We just talked about this one. So if you were looking for that continuation fade, look how beautifully those VWAP sellers come in on that multi-day trend to the downside here. Every time it has come into VWAP for the past 3 trading days, it has sold off quite distinctively, drawing out a multi-day trend happening, pushing into prior support levels just shy of this 247, 246 area that we just identified a couple minutes ago there. What else? Reddit. Bala talking about Reddit, RDDT.
Reddit was really, really good.
Very strong. Take a look at that.
Morning.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, you know, the thing about Reddit, it made the breakout that we liked.
Yeah.
This was one of those in the afternoon yesterday, probably this time yesterday, we were talking about this breaking that top, if it did. But let's be real, Tesla is the only reason we're not in this one. And it even broke the 70 level. So 70 is now gone. If it gets through 75, wow. That's all I got to say. So up 8%. It isn't a big time trend. This is not much of a chase for me. 5-cent spread, 4 million volume, but the volume's holding up really well. It's just a matter of finding your way in. But we got to talk those trades. Y Brothers United, AMD. I won't let it fill in the gap. We got it at our level. I like it. One on a 15-minute. If I'm getting in against the grain, I want those triangles overlapping. I don't want there to be a gap in there, because if there's a gap in there, that means I'm not keeping it tight to the vest. If you're trading a trend trade and you're with the trend, I don't mind having some kind of a gap, and you're willing to do that. But I'm going against the grain here with that short. So once it got back through 164, I'm not fighting it. You take your shot. Either it flushes in and you hold some for more, or it doesn't. Keep it binary, keep it tight to the vest. Amazon's not doing anything. Rivian's not doing anything. AMD continuing to churn. I'm not going into that long, at least not yet. Still room to that 166. It is an absolute rocket ship, but just back over to Reddit just for a second. I want to finish the thought there. I think when you're looking at something like this, it's not going to be the volume leader at all today. Sometimes you're looking for something that might be like a swing idea or something deep. Like if it can hold on to this, like if it dips back into 70, then you might have something. Why is this still on AMD? There you go. Then you might have something. If it dips back into 70, then you might have something back into like 66, where you could swing it into the highs. But as a day trade, way too tight to the top to want to chase this move here on Reddit, not with the volumes that we're seeing at this point. It's like everything just happened and it was all Tesla this morning, and that made your entire day. And everything else is a waste of time. But look out, Nvidia just lost the bid.
Yeah, I think Randy again whispering Costco. Yeah, Costco definitely. Again, not a ticker I necessarily look at for the day trade, but opportunities it provides definitely. So yeah, look at that. Very, very strong on the day. 846, 845s, and look at that. It's doing a little bit of arval in the pre-market as well. It doesn't necessarily do too much relative volume or volume at all in the pre-market or after hours, but something maybe significant today as it traded a little bit over, and then you get this crazy kind of move here, along with the markets, of course. 844s all the way to 860s. Let's take a look at this on the weekly. I know that I like to look at the larger picture on especially this ticker here, and I know that it was pushing for all-time highs. Oh boy, look at that one. Holy, that is a strong stock. For sure. Look at that. Is that COVID lows? That's not even COVID lows. This thing was indestructible during COVID right here. So look at that. What is that? 20 March or 21 March right there. So yeah, during COVID, it only pulls back less than 30, 40 points. And then look at this wind up consolidation before a nice blast off to the races here. Maybe pushing for that 1,000 mark. How long do you think it will take Costco to push that that glorious 1K mark that a lot of tickers try to get to in their lifetime? Definitely Costco setting up for that kind of
buy
push
the dips.
There. Just buy the dip?
Well, I mean, I'm a Walmart myself
anywhere.
personally. I'm not in Costco. I own Walmart shares, and Walmart's doing good, but it's not. It just hasn't been Costco historically. Well, since the split, it's been exploding when they did the reverse split from 180 down to 60 bucks. It's been doing pretty well. I got to get to, I said I would take a break of $1 on PSNY if it somehow magically got there. Magically is the wrong word, but hey, this could actually happen. So I gave my trail to 89 cents, and so that trailed out. I guess you could be long off VWAP, but it's starting to pick back up. Polestar, they reported this morning. Obviously, it was kind of a reversal and then broke it back out. Needs to get through $1. It's a 50-period moving average on the daily. It's kind of funny how that happens at exactly $1. It double tapped 97 yesterday and then failed it today. So any kind of push that gets you through $1, it's an easy long for me because you can just stop it out at 96, 97, 98, pick your poison, one of those previous highs, and then off to the races. So it's 319. I want it to happen, but if it happens tomorrow, it happens tomorrow. You move on. One note. Wow, so tomorrow's going to be a half day in the market. Market closes at 1 o'clock. I've traded a million times, not a million times, but traded a lot of these in the open on a half day where you're expecting lighter volume. You want to get that work in the first 30 minutes of the day. You want to prepare yourself to have a few ideas that if they go, you really want to be able to just hold on to them. Chasing moves is not the way to go. If you try to chase a move after 10 o'clock, it's not generally the way that you're going to want to work. And even mean reversion, sometimes you can get yourself to just wrapped up in the liquidity trap. So just be careful. You want to be very well prepared for tomorrow. That said, if PSNY breaks $1 tomorrow at 9:30, I'm probably going to be in it. But if it breaks it at like 10:30 or 10:40, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Just a different story at that point. So PSNY, let's go. Please go. The join needed to be here at the 90-cent level. Amazon keeps on going 20 cents in the money, and then that's it.
Yeah, a bit of a bid happening there.
No, I've jumped on the bid. It's silly. So there's a bid. Like, look how tight this is up at the top, just to give you an idea of the perspective. So if that's going to be the range, if it's going to be a 25-cent range, take the 25-cent range before the day is over. That's what I'm going to do with Amazon. And if it breaks down, just hold on to some. But it's trying to track down into this bottom as we speak. Rivian, you've got to be kidding me. Rivian, it's still right at $15. Every time I look over, Rivian's either at $14.99 or $15.01, and it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yannick is asking would I take AMD short again. I'm usually willing to go at something a second time if it sets up well. You just want to see that setup. So I didn't short it the first time when it was just immediately in that hammer candle. This is looking a little bit better as far as a lower high goes. It still has a pretty good trend that it could break. Certainly, like if you draw a trend line, it probably needs to get underneath 163.5. But another fail, like a lower high failure at 164 can get me in again. A breakdown 163.5. We're running out of time here for this to make its move.
Yeah, I'm kind of just waiting for Amazon to drop this package off at my front door here. Front door being in and around VWAP. I don't know if that's going to happen with only about 40 minutes left to trade. But yeah, we talked about the market taking a little bit of a breather, and it did, coming right back up to where it came from there. Apple, although, is printing a little bit lower, so I do have that on watch. And 229 still holding here on Tesla. But no, I definitely agree with Neil on that one. Shortened days, I've noticed as well. A little bit trappy action. It's a trap. You got to watch out for those and kind of stay a little nimble there. I know you have that exactly right there. So you definitely have to watch out for their predatory price action. Nonetheless, happens every day, but on low liquidity days, you definitely have to kind of work on sidestepping that. Not saying that you don't always have to work on sidestepping some of these algos there, not really trying to fight them. Trying to get with the program, literally, when it comes to some of these trending algos. Again, we talk about strong trends where the bid is consistently picked up at moving averages, at VWAP, at other indicators which are mathematically derived. I'm always asking myself, who do you think are the participants at some of those levels when it comes in so distinctly time and time again in a very repetitive fashion, machine-like almost, some of these trends happening. But yeah, it is what it is. Gotta keep stay on our toes, you know, and stay nimble, especially on days like tomorrow and days like Thursday. We gotta stay maybe in bed for a little bit longer. Maybe not necessarily on our toes because it's a day off.
You know what's
maybe
actually
sleeping
better?
in, but
Not to harp on, but sleep matters, man.
Oh,
Having
yeah.
consistent sleep patterns is actually really good for you. So I find I try not to sleep in too crazy on the weekends or anything like that. I mean, you have kids, you can't. But yeah, on a holiday, no. Like if I wasn't busted up, I get up at a normal time and just work out. Usually, obviously, I can't do that now. I suppose I can do pull-ups or something.
yeah, I know you're here pretty early. What time do you normally wake up, if you don't mind me asking?
4:30.
4:30.
Yeah,
So
so
like
what-
that's consistent every day.
Yeah, like I've been.
What time do you go to bed around?
I try to like if it's after 10 o'clock, that's a problem. It'd be on the weekend, but sometime between like 9:30, like about 9:30, I'm trying to get to sleep at that point.
enough, yeah.
And it is what it is. Like everyone's different. I've been a morning person. I woke up at 5:30 when I was in high school. We had a morning basketball program.
Yeah,
So
that would
like,
do it, yeah.
you know, rest in peace to the teacher who did that. He actually passed away. Good dude. But you know, we'd play ball in the morning, and then during track season, I had hurdle practice in the mornings. And then I'd have regular track practice after. So I've been used to waking up early. It's just whatever works for you. Just try to be consistent with it. Trading, life, I think your sleep patterns, you try to keep them as tight as possible. Because if you start, when you're young, you can do anything you want. But as you get older, like that consistency, you'll have better energy levels, all that good stuff. And it's really important, I think. Rivian Millionaire,
Yeah,
Neil
sure.
should post gym workouts like Sharif. Ha-ha, Rivian Millionaire. I don't go to the gym. Why? Because I'm like Sharif is a beast. Let's be real for a second. I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm not gonna try to look like Sharif or anything like that. So the only times I've worked out in a gym was when I was in university and it was free. When my ex years ago worked at a personal training studio, and she worked there, so I got to work out for free. And when those things didn't happen, then I have a home gym. I have adjustable dumbbells, a pull-up bar, and a couple of other things, some kettlebells, and I work out at home because unless you have crazy fitness goals, if you're self-motivated, then the time it saves me from going to the gym, that's extra time with my kids, it's extra time to look at charts, it's extra time for myself, and I value my time. So I've never been that person. If I had crazy goals, yeah, you probably need to work out in a gym, but I don't. And I think for a lot of people, you maybe have the gym membership to get you motivated and get you going. Fair enough. That's what you got to do, but everyone's got to do them. The average person, in my humble opinion, doesn't even need equipment to probably hit their goals. But again, I could just go crazy, waxing poetic about this stuff over and over again.
No, I definitely agree with that. Like I'm like, so I was going to the gym earlier on when I guess joined earlier on in trading life, I guess. But then I realized that after kind of joining the floor with the day taking up so many hours and me not necessarily looking for, I guess, you know, Hulk mode type of working out, I'm like, all right, well, I barely work out. I'm super, like, I guess people would argue that I still am, but like I was pretty skinny, and I'm like, all right, well, I gotta put some weight on, muscle weight. So I just a pull-up bar, right? Pull-up bar, kind of just building that routine. I do it almost every other day there, but working out at home, I definitely can respect that. It saves a lot of time, and that is very valuable to me. And yeah, no, for sure. Just driving to the gym is about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Getting there, getting prepped, doing whatever, another maybe like 10 minutes, and then driving back. So you pretty much spend almost an hour in just commute and preparation and wind down if you're kind of going out and coming back to the gym. I'm like, I don't have many hours in the day, and even if I have those hours, I would rather be spending them somewhere else. So pull-up bar, free weights, anything and everything you can be doing. Like you can get to a decently fit level with just a pull-up bar and a yoga mat, I would say. You might not even need the yoga mat. You don't even need, that's like fancy.
You can
but
do
like,
body weight for so much. You
yeah,
can do
100%.
like air
Calisthenics, go hard.
squats, calisthenics, pistol squats. I don't know how many people, I know a lot of dudes, like but when I was in.
Squat?
Yeah, well, I mean, right now, can I pistol squat with a busted leg? That's one of the crazy things. My pistol squats on my good leg are gonna be crazy because of my balance is ridiculous. But if I know people that can do like, oh, I can squat 400 pounds, And I've seen this to be true. Like when I was in university running track, they could squat just ungodly amounts as sprinters, and they couldn't do a pistol squat.
Oh.
And it's like, huh?
Yeah, it's different
like,
kind of muscle set,
like
right?
you want functional fitness. It matters more in your life. Obviously, it's different for athletes, but I love it. Reddit is flying, by the way. Let's just do this one for anyone that's in that Reddit trade. And again, we don't have Reddit today because Tesla decided to do Tesla things and then void this breakout trade. At least for me, it voided the breakout trade because I wasn't going to look at this at the open. We missed Apple for that reason. All right, I'm done with you, Rivian. It's 3:30. It's not going.
Alpha pushing for highs.
This is ridiculous. I might jump into a short if we lose 1490. It's just not going. So we thought there'd be an outsized move here, and nothing is happening. Same thing with Amazon. You can't even get the 15 cents for 20 cents anymore. Now it's like going 10, 15 cents on. So it's not like it's going against, but it's just consolidating in here. Got to do something.
Getting tighter.
To trend out a little bit. What else we got going on here? Sebastian, when Sean is there, you always talk about food. No, I talk about food because I'm always hungry. And the other reason why you'll hear me constantly talk about, like, I love apple fritters, I have a weakness for pastries, you put a cookie in front of me, I'm gonna eat it, is because I know that keeps me more disciplined. Like, I know that if I'm honest about it and just keep saying, I'm always hungry, all that kind of, I'm acknowledging the truth, like, which is, you put it in front of me, I'm probably gonna eat. So I gotta work out, I have to eat clean meals most of the other times. Just acknowledge that thing. How many times have you heard me say, don't chase a move? I'm saying out loud, not for your benefit, trust me, I'm saying it for my benefit, so that I don't chase it, because I know that I want to chase this move. I'm just going to say it over and over again, not to chase this stock, all that stuff. It's just really important to be honest with yourself and keep it real, because if you don't keep it real with yourself, then you're pretty much screwed. Like, nothing is going to help you if you can't be honest with yourself. Yeah, it's really important, especially knowing.
Gotta keep it real, man.
Okay, this is it, Rivian. This move needs to break the teens because it's 3:30. Okay, Rivian, it's 3:30. You ain't got no job. You ain't got ish to do but get to 15, 20 and then break out the top. That's all I'm saying. We're running out of time here, Rivian, and I'm starting to lose my patience.
Yeah, just sideways consolidation as price kind of compresses into that 200. Just making me think, like, what is the next trade? What is the next decision? I mean, I'm just watching this 200. I'm kind of curious to know, kind of going forward in the week. Tomorrow's going to be a light day. Friday's going to be a full day as well. So with this 200 coming in right before, I guess, a little bit of a long weekend-ish, midweek weekend happening there. Mid-weekend, yes, on the markets here. So I'm just curious to know how we print and trade around this 200 area. Prices definitely compressing in a very interesting fashion. Something I do want to point out is Google is pushing for fresh highs on the day. One of the only tickers that is doing this in terms of the Mag 7. Obviously, the Spider kind of pushing as well. Look at that strength coming right back into Tesla. 229s printing once again. Here we pulled back all the way to 228s, and then 229s coming right back in. So with only about half an hour left to print some of these prices, I'm curious to know what Tesla does. It has been trading only above VWAP, and it is extended on the day quite aggressively here, and also extended into, we talked about that interesting trend that's been happening on the weekly, on the hourly, on a much, much higher time frame, multi-year time frame on Tesla. We are testing some of those prices as of right now, and we were talking about this earlier. This is a bit of a euphoric move when it comes to looking back at it from a higher time frame. If you're looking at it from a yearly, if you're looking at it from a weekly, you can see that this is an extensive move here on the daily. There goes Amazon, a little bit of a drop. Can it drop it down even further here on the day? I am looking at some of these prior levels as well. So look at that, very, very tight compressing action here in and around that 200. Where are we going to go? We've only gone up all day. I have no idea what this ticker is going to do, but I have positioned myself in terms of with a little bit of a bias here, just above this 20,250, that quarter mark. I like those quarters, and yeah, 20,000 pushed up all the way, just shy of this 20,250. What is the high of that candle? Roughly is about 40s, 39s, 40s, it would seem, on the NQ here. ES still pushing for fresh highs. I don't know if you guys are trading anything right now. I know a lot of people talking about AMD and Reddit. Reddit super, super strong on the day here. Also pushing for fresh highs. Take a look at this relative volume that's been happening on the day as well. Over two times the relative volume. So yeah, 3 million traded, 3 million average 30-day volume, 4.5 million traded as of right now here on Reddit. And I guess AMD, we can take a quick look at that one once again. Yeah, printing near high of day there. But looking left, we've made quite a top here at that 166 as of last Friday there. So we're still not kind of past some of these prior resistance marks. You can see that here, a little interesting action on AMD. Let me just take some of this off here. So in the prior weeks, you have this strength that comes in with that relative volume, pushes up into 166.70s. Once again, you have some strength that pushes up into 166.40s. And then now, once again, we're having some more strength pushing up into 164s. Let's see if some of these levels, this 166 and change, 80s just underneath that 167, seems like it's been a bit of trouble for the longs over the past couple of weeks, but longs are pushing it in strong as of today. Look at that strong trend that's, again, been happening since about 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock this morning, all the way going into 3:30 as of right now. So very, very strong move there on AMD with a lot of these tickers pushing for fresh highs, even all-time highs on Google, on Apple, on Softy. Nvidia, not so much. Nvidia sideways, chop, consolidation. I'm curious to know what is the volume that's been traded? Yeah, relatively weak, but again, it could just be taking like a pit stop here while the rest of the market runs and only just to catch up tomorrow, right? I don't want to put anything past it. We've seen what this name is capable of doing, and yeah, okay, so 400 million average 30-day volume. That might be skewed by some certain outlier days, but it is only traded 180 mil. So let's go to the daily chart here and take a look at some of these volume candles. Look at this decreasing volume, Neil, off of these all-time highs there. So we did push all-time highs, strong volume candle on the breakdown. You got a 3-bar down, and we are chopping within the range of the last 2 bars there, kind of holding that doji bar as a bit of resistance just underneath that 128. But look at this decreasing volume happening as well, kind of interesting to say the least on the daily chart. Let's see if we can kind of come into some of these levels here. 118 held quite well, and we bid all the way back up to 128. But yeah, Nvidia super, super strong. A little extended, some would argue, on a larger time frame, but I am not arguing. I am not making any sort of, I guess, strong biased perspectives. I'm just trying to capture a piece of the move if and when Nvidia will have me. But yeah, something else to mention.
Amazon finally printed 80, by the way.
Yeah, it finally kind of pushed in, but it's still within this consolidation range right here. Yeah. Like, take a look at this. Like, right here, the range is 99.70s up into 99.13s here, roughly. We did kind of push that. I guess you can say that we pushed the lows here, 99.80s, finally coming right back in, going into the end of the day, again, with only about 24 minutes left to print for the closing bell. So I don't have anything else on watch. What else is in play? I think Nvidia is or was the only play. Again, shout out to one of our members who said he had a 5-figure day on Tesla. That's absolutely awesome. Tesla this morning, we were talking about it on the floor. This is a 5-figure trade. This is a 6-figure trade. The amount of volume that was going on, the amount of volume you could have pushed, the amount of opportunity that you could have had, not only trading the ticker itself, but also options. You could have very easily had a 6-figure day here on Tesla if you played it the right way, for sure.
One of a kind move.
Yeah, definitely one of a kind. And on deliveries, Tesla definitely did deliver today.
Yeah, there's zero doubt about it. Tesla delivering big time. 330 just hit. Like I mentioned, like 80s finally printed on Amazon, so that like 25-cent move, it finally comes in. But the imbalances, the imbalances are coming in 10 minutes, but the early look just came out about 7 minutes ago. There's nothing that's going to stand out. Just a word to the wise. TD, early look of 2 million to sell. That would seem interesting when the bank stocks have been strong today. But remember, TD's primary listing is in Toronto, and oftentimes it'll come out the other direction. If you have a big imbalance in the New York to the sell side, a lot of times it'll be a buy in Toronto, and if you can't see that, you could be trading the stock blind. So I wouldn't touch that at all. Nothing else over $1 million that matters. Fun, I don't know if that symbol is any fun, but I don't really know.
It used to be fun.
It used to be.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, no big names for the early look. Doesn't mean there won't be something that we can sink our teeth into on the imbalances. But for now, not a heck of a lot to work with. We're probably running out of time for Nvidia here.
Size on the bid.
But on size on the bid of which stock?
Amazon.
Oh, I see Amazon, yeah.
Little bit.
80s, it's 15,000 on
Yeah.
the bid. It's not a huge level. Nvidia's running out of time to lose the bottom. It just will not break down underneath 122. You have until maybe those imbalances come. I wouldn't want to get wrapped up entering a trade at that time, but Nvidia is looking relatively weak, and I do think it could break down and give you some kind of a push. Amazon, I think that's kind of boring at this point. AMD continues to press higher. You take your shot, it continues to run. We thought GameStop was also going to be something, but that could not make a high of the day break. It's gonna have to wait till tomorrow. Good consolidation off the top. I like the fact that it holds those higher lows. It's holding a tight range, kind of lulling everybody to sleep the last couple of days on the daily in GameStop, but it's made a couple of decent rallies. This is where you could get something explosive, especially on a low volume day. If it starts to go tomorrow, there might be just nothing that can stop it because no one's really that interested in taking the other side. So let's be honest. There might not be any kind of crazy breaker happening in the last 20 minutes, but we'll set things up. I'll tell you this much. Tune in and stick around for the aftermarket show. We got Brian Shannon on.
Okay.
And look, Tesla was a good trade today, but sometimes it's about educating so you can be in these moves a little bit earlier. We showed that trend line from before, but he's got a banger he's going to want to go over. So stick around. You got the aftermarket recap. Myself and Adair joined by Brian Shannon of Anchored VWAP fame. It's going to be a good one, but he had a banger on Tesla. I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about even before this. So Tesla has been fantastic. It was not just this morning. You could have been in this one a hot minute. And I get a lot of questions about Intel on this. And Intel is not Tesla. But when big trends break, wild things can happen. And we've been talking about the trend on Tesla. Come to the chart, Randy, for a second. Oh, sorry, my bad. It's Fabian on the ones and twos. If we come to the chart, Tesla has been doing the same thing for a year. If you're a trader, then you should like patterns. And if you don't like patterns, then do something else. But when it tags the bottom, it gets the top. We tag the bottom, and now it's got the top. So there are chances to get into this off this low. 150 was a chance, 170 was a chance, breaking 200 was a chance, and now you're at the top end of the channel. And I'm not saying Intel is any good. In fact, it's nasty, but this has been in a ridiculous consolidation at the bottom, which is forming a wedge. If this breaks out, all it takes is one push. This could be at 30, in the high 30s, no problem. That's a 20% move to the upside. Doesn't make Intel a good stock. It doesn't fix everything that's going on with the company. It doesn't change the fact that their foundry business is going to take years to be profitable. But from just a chart pattern, this is in the midst of a consolidation. It works both ways. If it breaks down, it sees 25. But we like stocks when they go up. So let's hope it breaks to the upside.
Yeah, Intel's been a bit of a, I guess, a sleeper, I would say, since that sell-off, kind of consolidating sideways. Definitely an interesting watch, nonetheless. Softy taking a little bit of a pullback here. And I was talking about size coming in at that 84 mark. We just kind of slammed right into those 84s. And take a look at Buddy over here. Got filled everything on a single T-gate right there. 14,400 shares on a lit gate on the bid, below the bid actually happening right there. It is very lit, Fabian. And yeah, coming right back in. Holding the 80s now, the consolidation low being right there at that 70. Is it 70s or 80s here? I should probably know this. It's 73. What is the low of that wick? 72, sorry. Got to be precise. 72, so size coming in, not too much, but 150 lots. again, looking for anything that is distinctly different and that is acting how it wasn't 5 minutes ago, and the size on the bid, even if it's 150 lots there, looking interesting. Price kind of came in aggressively, took them out, and then bid right back up. So maybe something suggestive, but nothing too crazy. I was just like, all right, well, if we take out that size and start trading lower, maybe the bids are really being hit, is what I'm trying to think. But if it kind of takes it out and bids right back up and does what we've been doing for hours, then it's absolutely nothing. Maybe shouldn't be taken. Maybe should only be taken with a grain of salt here. 2950s coming right back in here on Tesla. So we have been kind of pinballing in this range, 227s to 228s. Sorry, 230s, not 228s. 228s is the middle of the range there. But interesting stuff nonetheless. I'm curious to know how these last 15 minutes are going to happen, or how Tesla's going to trade in these last 15 minutes here today, going into a close after printing such a strong morning session and a very strong midday to end of day hold above VWAP. It is holding very, very nice within the upper quartile of the move that Tesla's had today. Again, just a reminder, they had deliveries this morning, 205s, you dip down to 204s, rip right back up. But something to note, if you go down to a 1 minute, we pushed up in the 214s before slamming down to 204s, and then we took out that 214. So a little bit of saucy action definitely happening on Tesla today, taking out players on both sides. And when I see that action, I'm like, all right, that's a little predatory. I do have to kind of go into sidestep mode and make sure I'm not stopping out of the trade and kind of keeping that bigger picture perspective on watch there, especially when tickers start to show predatory action. I'm sure the first thing in my mind is like, oh, it's out for the liquidity. It's out for the, where is most liquidity? Most liquidity is sitting at the place of stops. Now, it's irrelevant whether those stops are for longs or shorts. If there's liquidity sitting there, price, I guess, it's a saying, price tends to move towards liquid areas, right?
It used to be like it was like a psychological thing, like human traders would trade things into the big level. Yep. But the reality is now the algos know where the big liquidity levels are too. Yes. They have all the same indicators that you do. And so what's going to end up happening is if nothing is happening on the stock, it's going to gravitate usually towards the liquidity point, then something will happen, which could be the case here in Nvidia, which finally broke support. With 5 minutes to go till the imbalances come in, Nvidia broke that support level. I'm in it to VWAP. And let's see, like Nvidia is down 1.8% on the day. You do see on the, oh yeah, that's right. It's not split adjusted. But yeah, it's down 1.8% on the day. It has been trend down. It's not crazy, but it has been trend down. Like 130 fails, double top, lower highs. It just had that big recovery day yesterday, but no breakout today. There was never a 125 test or break. So if we do fail, it's not crazy that you could see 121. And if you can't tell the difference between Nvidia and AMD, I would suggest look closer. But if we break the quarters, we jump out of this one. With 4 minutes to go till the imbalances drop, I'm not even waiting. I'm just going to punch out of. I just punched out 95 on Rivian because after the news, Rivian does nothing. Nothing. It got to 15.20 at best. Now it loses 14.99. So we're in an average price of actually 99 was my average price. We get out there, the last of it loses 4 cents. We did get a fill up there at 10s, but you know, for all the volatility that's been in Rivian, you get the Volkswagen news, the higher low, just no continuation on the breakout trade. You ended up having to scalp the whole thing for 20 cents when I was looking for a much bigger move. I was hunting gap fill. Let's go to 16 even. That's just not the way it was trading today, unfortunately, on Rivian. So we're into Nvidia. Gonna get a bid out in front of the 50s here. The imbalances are coming in. Amazon's finally starting to go as well. The early look yielded nothing, but in 3 minutes, we might have some imbalances. And if they are to the sell side, great. But if it's to the buy side, I'm stopping out at VWAP on the Nvidia trade. And Amazon, I'm going to give it back into the 200. I'm just going to trail that a little bit tighter. I had it above the 30 level on Amazon. Now it's going to evens.
Yeah, that consolidation low we just pointed out, 72s. So I did get a little bit more on that break. We're still holding those 70s. Again, something to point out, that size at 84s was taken, and then we start to pull back a little bit, slightly a little bit more aggressive, again, going into 3 more minutes until those closing imbalances come in into the ticker. Now, again, things can get a little volatile. Things can get a little spicy here, so I do have to keep my finger on the trigger and kind of just observe. But Amazon is curling a little bit there. Maybe just poised for a little bit of a pullback here, as anybody and everybody who was long for the past, I guess, when was this? At 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock-ish. For the past 2 hours there is a little underwater underneath that 70 level there. And we haven't necessarily caught, we've been catching a bit all day, but strong holds were happening in and around that VWAP. Now, I don't know if we're going to drop all the way down to VWAP on Amazon going into the close. That would take some sort of interesting price action indeed. But
maybe not.
No, it's like there's certain price action which is like, all right, yeah, sure, that has the potential to happen. It's within range. And then other price action is just like, yeah, that's like the probability. I'm not going to say no, but the probability is probably extremely skewed.
So
in my head, at least, I don't know. Anything can happen. Anybody can come out and be like, you know what, sell 10,000 bushels of wheat, and
bushels of wheat.
You know that story from Reminiscence.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess you're referencing that. Yeah. No, I'll go so far as to say that it would be nice if Amazon went to 198. That's 198 changes VWAP. But Obi, if Amazon gets to if it gets to VWAP before the close,
oh boy.
Then how about I owe you a coffee tomorrow?
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You got to do like the Randolph and Mortimer type bets, right? Big Patty Ice knows. You know Randolph and Mortimer?
Nope.
Trading Places.
Okay, it's still a movie I have to watch, I guess.
Yeah, that's a great trading movie.
Yeah.
A little bit unrealistic towards the end when they're in the pit, but that doesn't matter. It's still a heck of a lot of fun. And if you've never seen it, Big Patty Ice, I got you. I know. He's shaking the head. But it's a great Trading Places is super funny. Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, great movie. Randolph and Mortimer, they're like millionaires or billionaires. I actually don't even remember if they're probably like not billionaires because it was the 80s, but they would only ever bet each other $1. It was always $1. When I was in high school, every bet in the cafeteria with my buddies, I'm like, we always bet a loonie. I'm like, I'm betting you $1. Out of principle. I don't want my friends' money, so we just bet $1 every single time. I stole that from Trading Places. So with 15 seconds to go, tighten stop here on Amazon at 200 into Nvidia as we're about to get the imbalances dropping any second now. Clearly, we'd love for them to be to the sell side at this point, but you never know where it's going to come out. So we'll see in about 3 seconds. You'll see these popular. I like to leave the early look up so I know where they came from, and sometimes it gives you an idea. But BAC, we don't care about BAC. If you do, it's a sell to 3 million. TD is a sell of 2 million. We expected that, but remember, it's dual listed in Canada. You got to watch what it comes out as. Tesla, 1 million to the buy side.
Oh boy.
Carts, 900,000 to buy. Okay, that's somewhat interesting. Maybe not. Amazon sell 577,000 is not that big. I don't see Nvidia yet. Cisco doesn't really matter. If you care about Cisco, good luck. It was 500,000 to sell. Oracle, 400,000. So I don't see Nvidia. I don't see Apple yet. We saw Amazon. Don't see Google. Don't see Microsoft. But I'm just going to jump out of Nvidia. If it's not going to go here and it breaks VWAP, it tagged it but didn't break, we'll hold on to VWAP and I won't move the stop. There's no point just yet. But no gigantic imbalances at all. So I will jump out of this trade. I guess if we get this local bottom, we should just take it. Because Nvidia, you're kind of looking in that situation for a breakdown, and then I want the short to come in. I want the sell imbalance to help me. There have been some big imbalances on some of the tech names. Unfortunately, we're just not getting it here on Nvidia. So it is what it is. We'll pack our patience, let's just say.
Yes.
We'll pack our patience and wait for tomorrow on this one. Amazon is continuing to the downside, but I'm not going to owe you a coffee. I'm not even going to bid
we get to VWAP. Come on, we got like 9 minutes left.
Well, I got to get up to the desk, so I'm going to take the $50 if it even gets there.
All right.
But I don't think I'll be owing you that coffee.
I think I was laughing in the chat. Was it Daniel? Because I was like, oh, it only takes one trader. Anything can happen. He's like, Obi, Josh Brown on line 2. Like, yeah, definitely that can happen once again. If,
Uber. He did it again today on Uber.
Oh, was that the move on Uber?
Yes, he was on. You have the Uber chart up.
Yeah. I was looking at that
I was
reversion.
adjusting my Amazon. No, but
That was him again?
I don't remember what time, but Uber made a rally. Trust me, you pull up the chart and Josh Brown 100%. He was on CNBC a second time and caused another Uber rally.
Was he on at 10:30?
No, it was a bit later. It wasn't the absolute bottom. If you zoom, can you zoom that in a little bit?
Look, this is in this consolidation.
It's like the second move. Like, see how the second volume move? It's that one was the Josh Brown move.
You see the volume coming in right there. Okay, all right.
And look, more power to him. The guy's liked Uber for years, so I'm not one of those people that hates on somebody for talking good about it. Like, they own the stock and they're betting long in the stock with their money and they're talking about the reasons why they like it. I have no problem with that. So, leave Roaring Kitty alone, leave this kind of people alone. It's another
free
thing.
Market.
If you're talking about a stock, it's like, oh, I love this stock, well, blah, blah, blah. You wouldn't buy it.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I don't want to hear it. Like, would you trade it to the long side at least? Like, you don't like you like everything about it, but you wouldn't own or buy the stock or trade the stock. I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't really make any sense to me. So what's the other alternative? Anyways, he's got skin in the game. I respect Josh Brown. But like, if you're ever paying attention, it is an actual thing recently, this little Uber Josh Brown rally in the middle of the day when he talks about it. So as time goes on, I would suspect that the third time it happens, it won't be as good. The fourth time it happens, it won't be as good. But for now, it's not that bad. And I just trailed out of Amazon. It's 3:53. We're running out of time. Elon just asked, hey Neil, is the imbalance volume info useful for the last 10 minutes of trade or for aftermarket tomorrow? It can be useful. But when there's nothing there, like I don't see, like all the big names that we've seen $1 million on a few times or $5 million on Nvidia, sometimes $2 or $3 million on Apple, they're not there today. When they're really big imbalances, it can move the stock and there might be a trade. But when there's nothing there, the idea would be then you just don't do anything. It can influence price action. It's not the law. Just because the buy imbalance is in there, I promise you TD and that sell imbalance, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Let me pull up TD Bank for you. I'm kind of hoping it's just going to confirm exactly what I would think in that TD. There we go. See, I didn't even pull up Toronto. I usually make that mistake. There you go. Wow. Okay, so I was kind of expecting the sell imbalance on TD. I'm like, see, look, TD's not going to have gone down on that 2 million sell imbalance. Oh, it might. Well, I certainly didn't expect it to be rallying the way it is either. But that's my point. It's not the Bible, but I promise you, it's probably a buy in Toronto. Like that's what happened. Remember I said, oftentimes if it's dual listed, it was probably a buy in Toronto and a sell in New York. Don't get caught by that. If anything, it's just a trap.
Oh, 2,000 lots at 230. Broken right now on
wow,
Tesla. Yeah, there's 2,000 lots at 230. All of them got taken out. 230, 25s printing as of right now with only, I guess, 55s. Yeah, those imbalances, that was the pairing event right there. Amazon right back up at that 200. So we are pushing and raging towards high of day here on Tesla going into the close. Definitely some squeezing action happening. Oh boy, here we go. This is what I was saying. We are at the high of that multi-time frame trend. And yeah, definitely poised for a bit of a squeeze if we continue higher than this. Those multi-year, multi-month, multi-week time frames getting broken here past that 227 into that 230 mark. What is the high of day? I got to get specific with this one.
231.22.
I got 231.14. Okay, all right. So in and around there. So we're ripping right back up into those places, into those prices. Oh boy, smelling like a gap for tomorrow.
Where's Michael Burry when you need him?
Right. If you're looking for a squeeze.
Oh, I got to get to this.
Tesla is a place to watch for sure, I guess. Yeah, that VWAP coming in real hot as of right now, continuing to that too high a day. 231's right there, knocking on the door, only about a quarter away from that level there. With only about 4 minutes left, I'm not really watching too much. Do I want to take a break going into the last couple of minutes of the day there? If it's squeezing like this, I am thinking about it, but if I'm thinking about it, it's probably already too late. So I'm gonna watch and maybe come back to it. There are another 1,000 lots here at that 231. And again, we only have less than 4 minutes left in the trading day before the bell rings. But don't forget, this is a NASDAQ ticker. It will continue to trade volume well beyond 4 p.m. And there it goes right here, pushing right up into those high of days. Can you print that size right there, 1,200 lots? Oh boy, Amazon came right back up to 200.
Good luck
so
with that,
I'm
Amazon. I'm going to see you at the desk there, Obi.
Thank you.
I'll see you up at the desk.
Take care.
Everybody. Locked and loaded, we got Brian Shannon. It's going to be a good close show. Don't necessarily catch me crutching away here, but I'll be up at the desk with Adara. Good luck in that close. Tesla ripping faces off.
Oof, yeah, Tesla definitely a mover there. You can see how aggressive this tape is going into the last few minutes of the day. Only about 2.5 minutes left. I got to reach over and get that countdown ready. But yeah, Amazon comes right back up into that 200. So I was like, all right, well, I did add on the break of the consolidation low. But if you're going to bid right back up into that 200, yeah, that strength is definitely there. I don't want to be involved anymore. This definitely has the potential to push even higher. And with the futures, ES and NQ screaming to the high side going into the close there as well. Have to respect that information that is coming out of a lot of these, I guess markets I can call them, right? I can call them markets. But yeah, no, I gotta find my trading view. Where is that window? I can't find my window anymore, but that's perfectly fine. I'm not really looking for too much there. 200, we talked about this price compression happening there. 20,250 coming in on the NQs as of right now. So we are printing that quarter above that 20,000 mark going into the close. But yeah, hopefully you guys had a crazy day. I mean, we definitely had a crazy day. Hopefully you guys had a good trading day. Now, don't forget, red or green on the P&L. Did you follow your process? That's what makes the day green or red, in my opinion. But definitely that. Okay, so it's still that size is increasing, almost 2,000 lots now, sitting at 231 as of right now. So kind of some participants showing face there on the ask. What is that? Are we going to print it? We only have about a minute left to go, so it looks like this is going to be one of those events where we kind of slap that ask going into the close and maybe continue further on in the after hours. Some of the best prices, again, we talk about this all the time. Some of the best prices get dealt with in the after hours or the pre-market and don't really leave too much for the intraday. But let's see, with this kind of close happening on Tesla, I do want to kind of keep that in mind. 2,000 lots, look at that size increasing as well. It seems like we are going to be printing this going right into the close. There it is on the ask, some of it decrementing, some of it printing. Can we break that 231? Do I see a print? Do I see a print above 231? Okay, look at that size decrement. Now we're down to 400, 300 lots, 100 lots. There it is, 01's print. Oh boy, we only have 15 seconds until the close. I gotta get ready to hit this countdown timer. Here we go. Hopefully you guys had a crazy day. 9, 8, 7. We are printing higher. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you, Adara. Oh boy, is this Tesla move going to be spicy going into the rest of the week here. Like I said before, Apple broke that 200 first, but Tesla was like, I'm going ludicrous mode. Not without me, you don't. 230's printing way past that Apple mark there. In terms of price, not necessarily market cap just yet, but Tesla super, super strong on the day. I guess deliveries were taken quite well here today on Tesla. So hopefully you guys had a great day there. Like I said, a lot of opportunities, not only just Tesla, the market as well. You can see that it had a very, very strong trend, again, going into the close, printing some of the highs of days. So without any further ado, don't go anywhere. We have Adara and Neil at the big desk with the market recap. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Have a good one.
What's going on? Bid. The stock has got to go. That's what it's all about. Tesla, 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 Tesla. A whole lot of other stuff happened today that nobody cares about because Tesla is Tesla. And it does end up 10% to the upside, 231, taking names and all that good stuff. What's hilarious about this is I sat down at the desk and I turned to Adara and I was like, at the end of the day, when I got out of that Tesla long, I think for most people probably, if you just stopped trading, it was like just spin wheels on everything else, up, down, up, down. But it was really just that one Tesla trade. It felt like Nike the other day to the short side. You only needed the one. Or what was it? Roaring Kitty's mess with Chewy the other day. All you needed was Chewy short off the open. Nothing else whatsoever. So all about that respect. absolutely love that move in Tesla. Even at the end of the day, just still ripping faces off. No questions asked. What an absolute banger.
Yeah, what a look there. I mean, I had some decisions were made, some trades were made there on Tesla. I had levels that I liked. I had levels that actually worked. At 227, I was really interested in, then 227.40s more specifically. What I need to do next time, I've realized, is just take lots of size in the trades I like, and then don't take trades I'm not obsessed with. So that's going to be the takeaway from the Tesla. That'll be my Tesla takeaway.
And really, like, it's not, like, it was such a strong day. We're pretty bullish in here today. So when you look at what happened overall, yeah, I know it's a Tesla party. No question about it. Oh, I see TH in the chat here. And Kathy rises again like the Phoenix. I like it. She's got to be happy. And it is still going, by the way, up at that 231. I'm going to get it out of the way. Black sheep trades. I got to have the crutches close to me. They're kind of on the desk in here, but I want them to be within reach. It is what it is. There's not really a better spot, and I don't want them to fall on the ground. So you're going to live with them in the shot, guys. But the super strong market, what do we like today? You would think SMH, 1%, XLF. I can get down with that. We saw JP Morgan, baby. Whoa, XLF up 1.1%, but JP Morgan, have yourself a day. I almost said something else. But JP. Pull up the chart. There you go. JP Morgan, 4 banger days in a row. It's the Tesla party. It's the JP Morgan Jamie Dimon party. Fresh 52-week highs, daily, weekly, hour, whatever the heck chart you want to pull up. JP Morgan doing absolute power moves. But you know what? Consumer discretionary. What's in the XLY? What's a consumer discretionary name that might be Tesla?
I think it starts with a T. I was going to say, like, maybe. It might be the NASDAQ, but like I'm not 100% sure. We don't mention it a lot in the show, so like
you're on to something.
Neither of us traded it today. No one traded it today. You guys definitely didn't have 2 longs on it. No, I'm stopping. It's Tesla.
If you weren't long Tesla today, you had a rough day. But yeah, there were other opportunities. But XLY, 2% to the upside. Okay, we kind of glossed over why it's breaking out, like a lot of other things. But I do want to jump back into the Qs just for a quick second because. All right, I'm not going to sing it, but there's a James Bond theme. We're at an all-time high. Microsoft made an all-time high today. You saw Google pressing. Tesla's not at one. Apple managed to break out as well. You had so many names that Amazon breaking the $200 level. So the Qs get right back into this now. 1, 2, 3, 4 times we're testing 487 on the daily for the triple Qs. Pop the weekly up. And remember we had Michael Noss talking about this. Remember the tweezers? It's a tweezers, right?
Yeah, the tweezer pattern, yeah.
There's a tweezer pattern. We get right up to the top again without a break yet. So that's a weekly chart. You can always pull up the daily to see basically the same idea. You're right up at that top. Got a holiday shortened week. It's going to be a half day tomorrow. But the question is, can the market take out that high? And if it doesn't, don't fight it. Not on a half day. Not on a half day. If we don't break that top and we're reversing, I'm not fighting any longs if we don't break that high. I've seen you can get yourself bamboozled if you fight the early trend in the market. It's going to get yourself into a lot of trouble on a half day. There's less time for a recovery. There's less liquidity out there. If you catch yourself on the wrong side tomorrow in the first 15, 20 minutes of the day, you can get yourself in a world of hurt. Look, I think when we talk about the trade review, I'm just going to quickly mention, look, Tesla's the stock. And I think the thing that you want to ask yourself for something like Tesla when you're going over any potential trades that you would have had today is like, where would you have gotten in? I can understand sitting out when the news came out. It's pre-market. It went $10 to the upside. It pulled all the way back in to the bottoms, then right back up to the tops. More whipsaw action. But once the market opened at 9:30, that was your chance. Because you zoom it right in here, and at 9:30, let me get rid of that daily chart. At 9:30, you dipped right into prior support. You had VWAP and anchored VWAP down there for you. Support anchored VWAP, I think, was at the 18 level. VWAP was a little bit lower than that. It didn't really matter. Once you caught that bid, that was your chance to dip by. And then from there, it was the dip buy. You had a breakout available here as well at 223. You had a consolidation at 225. So if you didn't trade Tesla to the long side today, you need to be reviewing where you would be getting into longs when that trend happened. Because once it was at that 230 level, I think at that point, you could have a couple of decent dip buys. You just had to wait it out until power hour when it started trending back in and giving that late move in there. So you know where we went long early was all about the off VWAP early. Like that was the trade. You knew you wanted long. We weren't fighting it. Lesson of the day was this was a no-fly zone to be short the stock. So I didn't mind being short over in Polestar, obviously. Thankfully, you know, I'll let you talk Tesla in a quick second here, but admittedly with Nikola, when it was going, I was able to get that last short that worked, right? So I was short, and remember, I was short 6 times on Nikola. The last one just worked. You don't generally want to do that, but the best you can do is get out. Get the heck out. You short this move and it breaks the top, get out. You short this move and it breaks the top, get the heck out. Because if you do get it, well, in order to get it, you just need to not be shut down. So if you can get tops on stocks, you can get bottoms on stocks, but you can't do it if you're shut down. So I think that's an important thing. But Adara, what was your look on Tesla today? I know everyone's probably sick and tired of hearing what Obi and I were doing on the stock.
I mean, you guys definitely have way better reads on Tesla than me. I want to shout out Obi and Neil and their Tesla longs this morning. I'm short biased. It's something I want to work on, but I do find as well, like I tried to take some longs and levels that could have theoretically worked out. I don't know what it is. It's something I need to work on. My mental is just not in place for the long trades. I can't see them as well. And I find even if they're at levels that make sense, I cannot execute them as well. I find maybe, I don't want to say my edge because I need to trade it better, but I feel like I like seeing the short sides. I think that's when I execute better if I just short scalp. That's what I should have done. I had a couple shorts on Tesla that were not bad, but what I should have been done was just taking those with size and not pushing them. Like, take your money and get out, girl. That's what I should have been doing with some of those Tesla shorts. Even I had that short from that 227 into VWAP. Why did I try it again? Like just, I think that's really what I learned is you could have the short scalps, they can work out, but be aware, as you said in your lesson of the day, be aware you're being counter trend, trade that accordingly, and do not overstay your welcome. So that's something I learned. I do want to work on being a little less short biased, but I think part of it too is I trust myself less in the long, so just working on that confidence, that confidence, and I have a lot to reflect on tonight is how I'll put that, and I'm excited to learn and get better tomorrow.
That's an interesting one, and like part of me, I know it's an easy exercise to just say, well, you know, you could always, like in your head, ask yourself, okay, well, if this is my entry for the short and I want to join the trend for the long, like where would I be taking profit? Like where do I think this move gets, if you're a scalp trader, let's just finish the thought here. If you're a scalp trader and you're short here at like 230, let's just say, I'll pull up a 15-minute chart here. If you're short at the 230 level, and let's just say you, oh, okay, well, the bottom here was 227, so I got to take that $1.50 and run. So if it bounces off that level, and if a short you think you'd be getting out there, that could be like an entry to buy the dip into the long. Because I think it's not abnormal when a stock has made that big of a move not to want to chase. Because ultimately, we want to buy lows and we want to sell highs. That's how the brain is usually works. But there are situations where you need to buy high, sell higher, no question about it. I saw it in the chat. I wanted to, oh shoot, it was, there we go, the sturdy gentleman in here. We're going to have, look, we got Brian Shannon coming through, but we have a few minutes before he comes on here. There was this good point. The sturdy gentleman, Tesla was just following the 3-day template, third peak high. When you look at the last couple of days, and this is important, I think a lot of times when you see a stock stair-stepping, you know, it had a catalyst today, I get that, right? But you were already breaking. There is your first move when it broke a consolidation, hold the lower highs, make a secondary break, hold again, and make a third break. Obviously, the news is going to give it the juice to make this big of a pattern. I would be a little bit reluctant going into tomorrow because of how much it's done and where Tesla is on this daily chart. I don't have the same trend line drawn, but I think you can look at this and simply say, when it made the top at 300, and this is that 2023 top, you can draw the trend line there. You can draw the trend line all the way there as well. Tesla is at the top of that trend line on a daily, on a weekly, so it's a pretty big, important level. It might be difficult for it to chew through it. I can see it really chopping people up tomorrow. Holiday shortened day as well, so if it doesn't go right away, you can find yourself in a world of hurt. But what an unbelievable day it was for Tesla, no question about it. I hope everyone had their opportunity to get into there, make that move. Rivian was pretty good. Rivian was disappointing because I was short it all morning, and the news came in the afternoon, and then it disappointed on that move. But you've got to take the swings at it. Rivian's still looking pretty good on a higher time frame there. So we do like some Tesla. We do like some Rivian. What was that, Fabian? No, Brian's not in. No, not yet. But I do have a little something that I also wanted to go over, and we talk about this quite often. About what does a missed opportunity look like? What are the trades that you, this is a must that you have to have and all that kind of good stuff. But there was Reddit, and I want to shout out to everyone in the chat that was screaming about Reddit all day long because Reddit made that breakout. We were talking yesterday in the afternoon show, we were saying Reddit above 66, your recent IPO trending to the upside. If it breaks 66, there's room to that local high. It did it today. The only reason you're not really focused on this stock at 9:30 when it gives you that breakout was Tesla, which is fine. I think I don't mind, at the end of the day yesterday, the Reddit breakout trade was probably something when I sat down that I was gonna wanna have at 9:30. But you know what? The delivery numbers happened on Tesla, and then Tesla went ham. So there's nothing wrong, and Tesla obviously worked out, but even if Tesla lost, you gotta be willing to live with that. Because Reddit, great, Tesla, better liquidity. There's two trades I see that look like fantastic breakouts with explosive upside. Reddit ends up going 10%, Tesla ends up going 10%, kind of the same deal. Which one's got better liquidity? So regardless of where you are in your trading journey and how much you're scaling your trades, you want to take the trades that are more scalable. So it doesn't matter whether you're trading small and just starting out or you're already able to trade with a bigger lot or in a prop for you can trade with as much as you want. Trade the one that's scalable. If you got to pick between the two. So Tesla over Reddit because it's always going to be a more scalable trade on Tesla. So practice the scalable trades. Why don't I trade Chipotle till it splits? Because it's not a scalable trade. Simple as that. You can't start with small size and work to big size on the names that are illiquid. And it's nothing against Reddit. I think it was a great trade, and rightfully so. Everyone that took it, I'm really happy that they got that win. But we've got time to talk about somebody who didn't waste time waiting for Tesla to break out on delivery. They got in early. Welcome in, Brian Shannon. I might have spoiled it a little bit, but you've been on before talking about Tesla. I think everybody knows what we're going to review today and how well that clearly has worked out in the past. So welcome, Brian Shannon, charter market technician, anchored VWAP, which, by the way, Brian, big thank you, because anchored VWAP made a lot of money for people on this floor today on Tesla. Because you couldn't you couldn't take it on the news. It was going all over the place, but at the open, oh, did it hug anchored VWAP if you anchored it from when the news dropped out there. And that's the only long you needed. So thank you for that, Brian. And please tell us how you did.
It's the old days in Tesla again, right? And there was actually a really nice afternoon bounce from the volume weighted average price. If you can pull my charts up there, we spoke about it last week as it was right here. This was last Tuesday, right there. And I was talking to Sean saying, it looks like it's finally ready to get going. And we saw that gap up last Wednesday, and it's just been a runaway train from there. I was looking for it to move. First, I thought maybe it would find a little supply here, then the 200-day moving average. And now we're up beyond the anchor from the all-time high, in fact. So just a massive move there. The best little intraday trade for me today was actually later in the afternoon, right over here, as it reclaimed that volume weighted average price. It doesn't look like much until you do it like that, and then put the stop under here, and then it was a beautiful afternoon trade. So that to me was my money trade in Tesla for today, because unfortunately I got rid of my swing trade and didn't participate on this beautiful gap up and go.
You got rid of the swing. It didn't take very long. What's interesting is, I remember when you came on, you were talking about that. I'm like, oh, well, how fast can we get to that top of the trend on Tesla? Yeah, well, whatever. It'll probably happen after the holiday. Give it a couple of weeks. Like, when's it going to be? And then you get the deliveries, and it bucks expectations. But you have to be looking at the stock first. You've got to notice that pattern. And we talk all the time about, throwing ideas out there and going over 1 million charts and 1 million setups. That's why you put in the work. Because, quite frankly, Tesla was in a consolidation for a while that didn't make a lot of sense to people that usually follow Tesla. Very tight range. You knew it would start to be Tesla again. And the idea is just to be ready when it was. So good on you. And not falling asleep on it, trading it in the afternoon when it made that VWAP bounce. The trend is your friend. As Obi on the show likes to say, the second part till the end when it bends. But I want to maybe fast forward to tomorrow. So it's a holiday shortened week. We got a half day tomorrow. As you mentioned, when you anchor that VWAP to that all-time high, it kind of tagged that already. I'm a little bit cautious about Tesla going in tomorrow on a half day after what we saw today. What are your thoughts, A, trading on the half day, and B, just with Tesla specifically tomorrow and then maybe the rest of the week as well after such a ridiculous move up?
I think it obviously seems like it's due for some consolidation, but finishing right here at the highs at the end of the day would tell you that that's just what we think. We have to look at what we're seeing on the price action, and it just continues to move higher. If I still had some swing trade position, and I don't, I would say this to me is the most recent relevant higher low, the afternoon low where it did undercut that volume weighted average price briefly today. That is the most recent relevant higher low. So I would have a stop under there to protect these beautiful gains, because we still have a declining 200-day moving average. And when the 200-day moving average is declining and we get these big runs, we often see consolidation, and then maybe, something like this over the next couple of weeks. That would really be something nice to see, is for it to calm down, pull back down towards that 210 level or so, and then be prepared for a bigger move based on what we're seeing on the weekly time frame.
Yeah, thank you so much. Again, you got that plan of action, and it's so true. Like, you expect a consolidation, but it's one thing to anticipate a certain thing happening in the market so that you're ready if it does. But if it doesn't, hey, a trader is just being prepared. It doesn't mean you have to take what you expect to happen. You get yourself in a lot of trouble. Oh, I think this stock is going to do this, so I'm just going to go short because I'm expecting it to hold resistance, all that good stuff. So I want to get your thoughts here on Chipotle if we can. CMG.
But just my thought on that as well, Neil. One of my phrases I love to say is, anticipate all the potential scenarios and then wait for price confirmation before you commit your hard-earned money, and then manage risk. I wrote that in that book probably 20 times, and I've said it 10,000 times over the last couple decades. But to me, that's the way it is. It's just we have to be prepared, and then once we have the confirmation, that's when we commit. So back to CMG, as you were saying. CMG, I'm in the same camp as you, that it was basically untradeable as a $3,000 stock that was trading 300,000 shares a day in a 30-point spread. But now we've got a tradable stock here. However, we're undergoing some profit taking. We're below the declining 5-day moving average over here on the right. And I would really love to see, I'm not sure it will, what we often see first is a slight undercut of that prior low and then a rally. So we might be getting ready for a bounce, but I would prefer we come down and maybe test this year-to-date anchored VWAP. If we came down there and then kind of went sideways a little bit, then I think you're going to see a more sustainable bounce. Just a little bit cautious while we're below that declining 5-day moving average, though, Neil.
Yeah, that's a good look. I feel like it's also the kind of stock that a lot of people have been waiting for this opportunity, and now it's like, okay, well, I want to go long Chipotle. What do I do? You don't always want to jump in right away. Now, if you're talking about a long-term investment account where you're holding it forever, hey, the stock has performed great. If your time horizon is forever, I'm not going to here to tell you to pick an entry at any particular price. But in this particular case, I know that I'm looking at that same area here on the daily, and I love that you focused anchored VWAP. I'd rather it trap some shorts, as you might have said. Like some of the best longs are when it does break down what everybody's looking at, maybe run a few stops in, and then when you see it hold after that and trend back up, then you catch it on the other side of the trade. Just for curiosity's sake here, like there's a sympathy trade every now and then that I think can work. Like I'm looking at CMG, wanting it to hold that level. Now, if it doesn't hold that level, I've been thinking about Kava, which is, again, it's like it's not the same stock. Mediterranean, probably overpriced from a valuation standpoint. IPOs and just runs higher. Everyone thinking it's the next Chipotle. If Chipotle loses that support, I have my eyeballs on this stock as a pure sympathy play because the risk to reward could be so tight if it fails the high. If it happens simultaneously and you've got 1 or 2 points of risk on Kava to the high, the short seems enticing there. Do you ever do sympathy plays where you look for, maybe you like Chipotle long, you're looking for something to short if it falls down because you just don't love the Chipotle short itself?
I'll look for a sympathy play if I miss the original move that I'm looking for. But in the case of, the way I look at things is that Kava's in a beautiful uptrend. So I have no business shorting that stock. I've lost too much money in my career, Neil, that I'm not disciplined enough to cut them quickly, or I guess. But I can definitely see that, we've been riding this rising 20-day moving average. We're starting to turn sideways in here a little bit. This might be a lower high. Not, you can't really call it that yet. But I think if CMG were to fail, that you could see a sympathy short down maybe to the 50-day moving average. I think I saw something that said the average store is valued at $33 million. That really means nothing for the stock price, but just goes to talk about what you were talking about. Maybe it's overvalued fundamentally at this time.
Yeah, and the other thing to caution everybody is that we're just throwing ideas out here. This thing is 11% short float, and it just came to market recently. So clearly, people are betting heavily against this, which can work in both ways. Any other names you have out there? I know cybersecurity has been a big deal. You've had some big moves. Not a great move in terms of what happened recently on CrowdStrike, but you have one name I know that you wanted to talk about that is a favorite of mine because it's the one I hold in the space, Pandub.
Oh, yeah. Did you say PANW?
Yeah, Pandub. I love that stock.
Pandub, got it. No, I like it a lot. As you can see, I was talking about this one with Sean last week as well. But unfortunately, same story. We spoke about it this day. It gapped up and it kind of left me hanging there. And I really haven't traded it all week. I still think that we have the potential that it can go fill this gap up in here from that earnings report where Mr. Pelosi bought down here, by the way. And then we have that cup and handle we've been talking about, or is it an ascending triangle? But I like this nice tight consolidation in here just the last 3 or 4 days. And if it wasn't a holiday shortened day tomorrow, I would think maybe it can get up through that level and then continue to move higher. These are your more important higher lows from a swing trade perspective. So if it were to hold above this level, then you could protect yourself with a stop underneath that because it just seems to be building the energy to move from here. So I like it too, Neil.
Yeah, and you know what? I said this before. Obviously, you had a great call. Sometimes it just gaps and goes faster and further than you anticipate as a trader, and maybe you miss out on an opportunity because the setup is there. But sometimes you got to buy high, sell higher. If it just sets up another break and fills in more of the gap, you got to be willing to take it. That's something I learned maybe not fast enough in my career because I started out trading a lot of penny stocks when I was day trading, and so I would get caught in the trap of those are the types of things that eventually you look for mean reversion or you're wasting your time. And when you're trading names like a PANW, if it starts to go in and starts to trend, that's not what you're supposed to do. Sometimes you just got to buy high, sell higher. You're not always going to catch the bottom of the move. You just got to be willing to join the trend where you find it. So looking for that next trade, as always.
Agreed 100%. And I still have a problem with that, Neil. I'm always waiting for the little pullback first and then for it to get back above the VWAP. It didn't do that in PANW. I'm going to start calling it that, by the way. So I missed it, and that it's just how it goes. Dell looks like maybe it could start to do something in here. It's kind of been settling down since that gap lower over here on the 30-minute time frame. You can see it's starting to round up above the rising 5-day moving average. So I've got an eye on that one. I think anything trading under 140-ish would kind of tell me I'm no longer interested in that one. But it's, here's the anchor off of that high that we just saw. So we're starting to see, test of that anchor with a higher low. That tells me we could see a move maybe 150, 155 in there, protected against basically today's lows. So that's one that, again, unfortunately, we've got, half day and low liquidity tomorrow, but some goofy things can happen on a low liquidity day as well.
I actually like them at the open. They've been high percentage days where you have to be willing to maybe not take anything if it doesn't set up, but if you get something and it works, it just works right away for the first half an hour or an hour of the day, and then you just don't do anything else after that. Brian, and we're kind of running in time here, and we have a question from the audience. I'm hoping you don't mind.
Sure.
Elon in the chat asking you about Alibaba. And I know I haven't looked at this name in a hot minute ever since it failed underneath $80 on the daily chart. The Chinese names have not necessarily been the easiest. It's in a pretty decent downward trend. Again, made a great bottom, and it was a good long into 90, only if you took profit. Now it's just back into the doldrums. Thoughts here? Because I'm not seeing much I like.
No, I don't see it either, Neil. It had that great run, like you said, but with that declining 200-day moving average, they typically will fail. And I'm not hoping that Tesla does something like this, but you've got to keep in mind with a declining 200-day moving average, they typically fail. Now we're below the year-to-date anchor in there. We're below the 20, 30, 40-week moving average. I don't like to trade Chinese names, so I am a little biased against those as well. But I just see a solid downtrend, and we're in a bull market. Why not buy the stuff that's going up that has established trends? So it's just not something that entices me at all here.
Yeah, and every time, and don't get me wrong, like I'm still in Alibaba because I didn't take the 90s. I mean, I got something out, but not much, like 20%. And I look like I'm bag holding, and every single time I point that out, I show people a chart of Pinduoduo, which is a similar name, and as you said, you have a 200 moving average moving down. On Pinduoduo, you've got one moving up, and if you wanted to dip by something, at least this is trending up in the same pace. I don't think this chart looks that great after failing the top and on lower highs, but at least it's something which is it's still in an upward trend. Strong stocks is better to buy in a general sense, everybody.
Yeah, and it came down. It's right at the year-to-date anchor, so maybe this is where it's going to find a little bit of support. I could see Pinduoduo getting going maybe in the next day or two, at least for a near-term bounce up towards 138, 140-ish.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's just like that. Find that stronger stock. Look for that opportunity. Brian, I can't thank you enough. We'll check back in. Next time we have you on, of course, we'll check back in on that Pandel. We hope you get in. But Tesla, that was the one. It was a widow maker for shorts, but it was the month maker for a lot of people on the longs. And again, I gotta say a big thank you. This trading floor did well with anchored VWAP from the point that news came out. It's a fantastic tool. Brian Shannon, CMT from Alpha Trends. Make sure you go check both of his books. And every single time he comes on the show, we'll get an opportunity to learn something. Best of luck in all of your trades going forward. And you know what? Also enjoy the holiday the next couple of days.
You too, Neil. Thank you.
I love to just sit back and learn sometimes. And I say that when we're thanking Brian for that anchored VWAP, I'm not just sort of throwing it out there because he does us a favor coming on the show and dropping knowledge and is a great part of the community. It's just the actual truth. You saw this morning, we dip bought off levels that mattered, but truth be told, when it held that anchored VWAP, it gave you the conviction to take it 2-3 times off of that level. It just gave you another area of confluence for that trade, Adara. I feel like I said the other day that we would go back and forth with the roll call. Like I would do it one day, you do it another day. But I feel like if I ask the people what they want, they're just going to tell me Adara should do it every single day. So I'm going to bypass that if you're willing.
I'm willing. Yeah, I don't know what the people want, but I'm willing to do it.
So look, I'm just going to sit back, do a little bit of this. Make sure you get your name in the chat right now because it's roll call time and Adara's about to drop it like it's hot. Okay. I see names in the chat there. I'm going to get myself in there as well. Adara, take it over.
Let's get going. Okay. First Response, thank you so much for everything you do. So happy to be here. We do have Derek S. We've got Pitchbull saying Adara. Hi, Pitchbull. Dave Clark. Thank you for being here, Dave Clark. M. Kelsey. Sebastian. Mahesh Mahat. We've got Pitchbull here again. Lars Hansen. Thomas Briganti. Sebastian. Neil Roberts. Not Neil Roberts, but Neil Roberts. Rogue Yogi. On to Blockchains. Tim Dixon. Mike Breeze. Michelle Muir. Finch Jane. Michael Lopez. Jonathan Mencia. Rivian Millionaire here again. Noah. Bristol. Paula Blackford. Trenches Trader. James H. Zero Gravity. Zen. Rye. Jam Loki. Darwin. Mindfulness Matters. Plutus, Mark M, Nick McGroovy. I like that one. Derek Thompson, Heinrich, Dan H, Take Profit, Tom, Sebastian, The Piper, Les Hansen, Zion, Lala, Bears vs. Bulls in here, Henry Chung, Robert Liu, Jesse Cohen, Joe Moto, Rivian Millionaire, Adam Khalifa, The Real Tech Geek, School of Troll, Plutus, Kyle Burdett, Kyle Willies, Michael Spetafor, Zamalek, God Sent, DVDR, only sent me whales, Jesse Cohen, Michael Lopez, Doggy Trainer, Slugga214, Finch, Jane Finch. There's so many people in here. I'm so happy. Please this bunch to do roll call.
Boom. Just like that. Do you even breathe when you do it? It doesn't make any sense. She's a machine when it comes to roll call. To everybody out there in the Trader TV Live community, we love all of you. What an unbelievable Tesla-led day it was. You know it's a holiday shortened weekend, but the fireworks should still be there at the open tomorrow morning. I want to take an opportunity for everybody just to remind you, check out the podcast. The holiday's coming up. You're going to have some time on your hands. Freedom and Wealth Podcast, Episode 5, the Kevin O'Leary episode. Fantastic insights from him on the economy and some more knowledge dropped by Brendan and Sean. So check that out. Scan that QR code. You know what's up. Tomorrow, we go right back to work. The nitty gritty, on the grind. We'll have Obi back on the desk. We'll find those trade ideas. Whatever's moving, we'll hit it and quit it on the half day, and we'll be right back at it. From Adara, from myself, from Fabian on the ones and twos, the entire Trade TV family. We'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early at 8:30.
Bye.
Bye, guys.